Well, another big YouTuber getting exposed. Wonder what it is. So today we got Clyde talking about why he stopped working with Seth the Programmer. You know, I like to listen to both sides of the story personally. So we're gonna listen to Clyde's side. He might have evidence. That's cool. Then we're gonna wait for Seth. If he says something, cool. But we're gonna wait for both sides, okay? That's how you do it. You just wait for both sides. I will say though, when Swag Kage and Seth had like a kind of a mini falling out, and Swag was like putting his heart out there, like he was like, "Yeah, man, I thought we were cool, this and that." I was like, "Man, buddy, really going through it." But let's get it.
Or anything. If I didn't like you, you would just know, bro. You know, I'm very like when it comes to my relationships with people, I always tell people like what I think and how I feel and all those things. I'm never like if I don't like you, you can just like tell. You know what I mean? So no, I'm not snaky at all.
It's been like a
That's
live
very
stream.
disingenuous to say, especially people that have known me in public. You know me in the old Discord servers or anything. If I didn't like you, you would just know, bro. Like it was just wildly apparent. So no, I never snaked anybody or anything like that. Sometimes things just don't work out. You know what I mean? For many different reasons.
That's true.
Um, so
Some things don't just work
We
out.
do need Clyde versus Swag, man.
Oh,
But I'm not close to Clyde anymore, so I can't instigate it.
Wow.
like I would not have helped Clyde and Chuck make a career. I could have done everything I've done now without any of those losers. So
That podcast is not fucking happening. That shit is not happening, bro. That shit
Six.
is not happening. Hey, that shit ain't happening, bro.
Podcast.
All I'm gonna say, bro, it's not me. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not me. I can show receipts for this shit. All I can say is that I tried. Nobody can blame it on me. I would be worried about anyone blaming on me if I didn't have the fucking like evidence to back up that it's not
Six over here, he trying to cover for himself. He don't really care. He's like, I did the best I could. I got receipts. It wasn't my fault.
me.
All right.
I'm just saying, if it comes to like that, I have to prove it's who did what. I can just prove it wasn't me.
Oh man, Six the type of person. He like Gunner, bro. He gonna be an informant. He gonna be like, man, I ain't saying nothing. They bring him some McDonald's. All right, well, it wasn't me, but it might have been this person.
Delete this community tab.
Let me get some of that Coca-Cola, man.
Because I'm not sure that shit is happening anymore. It would be a miracle if that podcast happens at this point.
It's gonna be a podcast of anime Naruto. It's the most exhausting thing I've ever had to do throughout my close to 12 years of making YouTube content. I generally wanted to avoid things ever getting to the point. However, I've been forced into this situation by Seth, and you all deserve to hear my experience working with him, where it'll never be told to the public. Okay. Please watch it to the very end. This is the most important video I will ever have
So, a
to
lot
make.
of you have probably noticed by now that Seth the Programmer and I do not collaborate on content, follow each other on any social media, stream together anymore, and whenever Naruto vs Ichigo is brought up on my streams, I either avoid the topic, direct people to Seth, or hide people from my Twitch chat when they spam questions in regards to the project. Well, for those of you unaware...
Yeah, because that project has been in the works for a very, very long time. A lot of people have been waiting to see this. I don't know why everybody's been waiting to see it. Like, it's just another animation, really. Like, okay, Naruto versus Ichigo, but this project has been in the works for ever, dude. But yeah.
Seth and I have not spoken in voice
Hey, dude, this is goodbye for good. Okay.
chat since January of 2022. You may be thinking to yourself, there seems to be a pretty common trend with Seth. Another one of his friends is now not associated with him. Well, this isn't the first time this has happened, or the second for that matter, when it comes to us too. but no one has really known about our association beyond just YouTube formality in public. All of the stuff in this video has been kept a secret, mostly because I thought he and I could just move on, do our YouTube stuff, and be adults. But just like every other time, where we've had drama like this, or he's deleted
Another one bites the dust. I'll watch it later, give you timestamps it. Actually went in on the. All right. Bear versus Gorilla. Doing well. I feel betrayed. What's
deleted or blocked me or cut me off for any random drop of that
over not giving him enough attention? The doctor. I'm about to read all this
he
shit.
just can't stop himself from talking about me, my friends.
I didn't want to play Among Us, and you had to tag him, and I had to tag him in the Naruto vs Ichigo. Play Among Us on stream tonight. Depends on how the legend grind goes. Come play, you virgin loser. That's a legit response. Later. Yeah. Locked in a follow. Oh man, what up?
Friends on his
What a
streams,
bitch, bro.
videos, or anything.
Look, I get it in with my homies too, bro. But I would never like block them over not wanting to play the game. Sure, I might feel some type of way. I'm like, I call my boys up. I'm like, hey, y'all trying to play something? They're like, nah, man, we playing this. It's like, damn, all right, bros. All right, see y'all later or something like that. It is what it is, bro. Not everybody wants to play the same game at the same moment.
Where else? And with the very clear recent spiral of his mental health, which
I made enough to retire. Yeah, I guarantee you that. I made enough to retire. Like, dude, Seth hasn't had an upload for fucking a long time, and next thing you know, he's releasing content back to back. So I'm thinking, oh man, this is the backlog. I stick around to keep making other people's lives miserable. The fact I made numerous YouTubers give up on their dreams. I have to see. I need them.
Spiral of his mental health, which can be seen by his sporadic tweets.
Want to be a burden to society. I want people to suffer for their culture and feel the weight of all the pain they feel indifferent to that their society has generated. I am poison that slowly kills everybody. I despise you. I'll abuse the system. Thank you. And what in the pain light Yagami going on here?
And the stuff that he says on his streams.
Naming them isn't enough.
Threats about doing something for the community, and then other little shots here and there that he pops at me on stream all the time. My hand has been forced. Trust me when I say I did not want to have to make this video. Along with that though, there are channels popping up spreading drama about Seth that I wasn't even aware of. And I have a suspicion that he is going to attempt to throw me under the bus to avoid any criticism for his handling of the Naruto vs Ichigo project, which I will get into in this video. I'm going to get very in-depth about that because you guys deserve to know the truth in regards to that project.
Facts.
I've known Seth since November of 2016. I initially reached out to him after watching some YouTube videos on how to grow your YouTube channel, and the best method suggested was to make friends with creators of the same style of content and to try and have sort of a community to help each other thrive.
Yeah, this sounds like some 2016 ass idea. Bro, nowadays you can't fuck with nobody. You listen to I'm Dante, he talk about, oh, I make reaction videos, this and that. I done had rap people message me, and then those same rap people get mad when I don't watch their video, this and that. It's like people just be getting pressed for nothing. Hey, bro. Yeah, well, you should hang out with people. That is definitely some 2016 ass fucking advice.
You've no doubt seen countless YouTube circles that bounce off one another like this, and this in turn did actually happen because I reached out.
And it's cool. You can have friends on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm just saying, like, to try and build off of each other, it's gonna be definitely a difficult thing to do, especially when like money and stuff gets involved. Money and
to Seth on Twitter. He replied to me, we started talking through DM, and in truth, I actually enjoyed his content. And a few months before this, I had met Swag Kage, whom I connected with Seth.
Swag!
And then the next thing you know, we had our community, where we'd collaborate,
the
and
Mount
we were all pretty
Rushmore,
much known as the main three, with Chuck being Seth's old friend that covered Dragon Ball and would make debunk-related content with him. Now, I want to preface before I get into this video that although Swag Kage and I haven't really talked very much in the past 2 years, or collabed, this has been mostly due to Seth's manipulation of Swag behind the scenes. Ever since he and I had drama in 2018, that's Seth I'm talking about, he wanted me to be as far away from Swag Kage as possible, because he knew that if I could talk to Swag, that I could show him what was going on behind the scenes.
Like a chessboard.
What Seth did was try to instigate debates with us all the time, lie when I was not in call with them, and various other bad things which has taken place over the course of the past few years. So for those of you who are curious why I don't collab with Swag, well, there's your answer. Now, I'm going to show Swag Kage something here in this video that's definitely going to get his attention. To say that I've been cooking in the past year would be a very big understatement.
He hurt me so bad.
Elisa's friend who's
He fucked me up. He asked if I was on the spectrum.
Oh my
Which
god.
shit I might be, but because this is serious.
Talking about the spectrum, the what's it called? Whatever.
Question, are you on the spectrum?
I'll figure it out later.
And I said, what the f is that? Like, I was crying at the time, but like, I'm glad we weren't calling. It was just through text. And God, what else? He said that I was awful, and it was horrible. He said I was disgusting.
Amelia. I'm genuinely with all my heart. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's not your fault. I did not deserve that. I did not deserve that. And I blocked him, rightfully.
Remember, guys, we still need both sides of the story. If this really did happen, that's very sad. You know, feel bad for the young lady, but we still need both sides because there have been cases in the past of people manipulated by tears. Some not real, some might be real, but manipulation nonetheless. So try and keep it open mind, like a courtroom, judge, jury, separate things. So
I blocked him. I was like, F you, I'm out.
Now, to give you guys some context as to how serious this situation could potentially be, well, Seth is the type who would willingly slander Swag Kage or I, and anything we've told him in private, he would instantly tell the public about. It's just within his character to act this way. He will go so far to lie, and has even done so about things as serious as false rape allegations. You also may not know this, but Swag at the time was also worried, and he probably is now, because Seth had been secretly recording their private calls over the course of the months and years they knew each other, and has no doubt done so to me many a times without my knowledge or consent. I'm actually curious to see after this video what kind of weird stuff he has been recording, especially the out of context stuff that he's no doubt going to share. That being
supposedly out of context, we don't know. We don't know. We don't have it all. Maybe Clyde and Seth are both bad people, but we don't know.
Said, today I want to talk to you about something that many people have warned me against. I've heard about 5 different people I know tell me not to do this and to not risk it, as Seth's channel is too large and you'll just get bullied by his audience when he replies or twists the situation, which he will do, as I watched him do it right next to me during the satire stream, where he was accused of asking an underage girl for nudes, flirting with an underage boy, and it was insane to watch how easily people believed his lies because they only know the personality they see in his videos or streams. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, fans
I don't
are
mean
stupid.
to say this in a
They'll
humorous
believe
way,
whatever.
for the longest time, it legitimately felt like Geen watching Eisen do some pretty fucked up shit. And the closer I got with Seth over the years, the more I started to question my own morals with supporting the stuff he was doing. The satire stuff, as an example, I only knew what I was told by him at the time, and I went onto that stream to defend him as any good friend would do, which he has rarely done so for me in such a selfless way, apart from financial assistance. I kind of feel in retrospect that it was a bad idea to blindly support him, but you'll understand why I did more as you watch the video.
I mean,
The more that I've come to learn about the satire situation and other things, the more I've come to be more worried about his real self. I want to say this very clearly. If you follow Seth or I, and you enjoy our content and have a certain image of us that you think we're like in real life, please listen when I say, have an open mind, and hear what I have to say. Do you think I would drop this video out of nowhere for absolutely no reason? If you are someone that's excited for Naruto
absolutely
versus
no
Ichigo, and you want to know the truth about that too, then make sure you listen to what I have to say in this entire video, because as most of you know, that project was a project that was initially involving us too. And it's quite wild because there's actually a lot of people that don't know I was the co-host of that project, because he would always try to take the credit for it. Well, to give you further insight on that, many of you don't know, but Seth secretly cancelled it on more than one occasion. And by doing so, he also scammed a lot of fans out of money too, and then lied about it on stream.
He said, is Naruto vs. Ichigo canceled? If not, why is the Patreon page is gone? I already talked about this. What do you mean it's sus, bitch? I talked about this on stream 4 times. The f*** are you talking about, sus, you dumbass motherfucker? Anyone that watches my stream would know I've already talked about canceling it.
Talk about it again.
What? I literally made a Patreon post for a month straight saying it was.
Then say it again.
What? That's pretty sus, man. Shut the f up. What are you talking? I wasn't hiding it.
What's with the, like what would be sus anyway? Isn't it yours? Like, weren't you paying for
Right?
it?
Acting like I made money off of that, bruh. What the hell? Y'all think I made money from that? What do you mean sus, you dumbass?
Nah,
Shut the f up. Free
bro,
freeload.
this killed me. This killed me. Nick started a GoFundMe to do the animation themselves.
Yeah, of course. Because if you're not gonna do it, somebody else will. There was a speed run back in the day about Cloud and Barrett getting level 99 in Reactor 1. And some guy was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, this and that. He was taking forever and not showing any receipts. And guess what? Somebody else came and did it. That story is legendary on the internet. So yeah, if you're not gonna do it and people really care about it, other people are gonna do it. That's not surprising, Six. It's not surprising at all.
Yeah, like, no, it's not gonna happen. If it has to happen again, it has to be paid for by me. There's no way.
Like, bro,
No, somebody else can do it.
2017.
Anybody else can get money and do it. It's just hiring people that are actually dedicated to whatever it is. It's bullshit.
$1,000.
It's bullshit, bro. It's gonna cost money. Sure, it's gonna cost money. But passion and money, those aren't the same thing. As long as somebody really cares about the project, it'll get done, whether it costs $1,000 or if they only did it with 20. It'll get done.
Aren't getting that, bro.
Yeah, Simon.
Bro, this nigga, the dick eating is insane, bro. You see this nigga's comment? I told the people who batter, YouTube viewers don't batter, as if your entire career didn't come from YouTube viewers.
Bro, I don't look. I say that to your face. I hate y'all. I do.
Okay.
I hate you, and I've said it since day one. I call y'all for giving me money. I pack you on site. All we do is just talk each other. You hate me, I hate you. It's a mutual hate relationship.
And that's normal and that's understandable. That Seth is in every right to hate his fans. But I mean, don't bite the hand that feeds you. You can if you want to. It's just not wise to do it. But he's entirely in his right. If you remember when iDubbbz built his fan base and he was like, I'm not your dad, this and that. He's like, you guys need to stop looking for me for advice. Okay, he's in his right to do that. A lot of people got upset and got mad, but it's true. He can do whatever he wants. He's a grown man. Seth can do whatever he wants. It's just, should he have said it better? Yeah, that's just fan base. I personally don't respect famous people that treat their fans bad, but you're definitely in your right to do so.
That's just how it is.
So
It's always been that way.
Thanks for the 20, my nigga.
I literally sit here call you my son. Like, look at Geets' dumb again. Coming in, $20. Like, oh, it's like clockwork. I don't give
Chill out on Geets, bro. Chill out on my nigga Geets. But
I love Geets, but he's and I'll say that straight up.
Now, after this little stream clip where Seth is getting nervous at being questioned about what happened to the project, Seth then goes on to lie about how much the project actually made by claiming it only made $1,000.
I don't
How much
believe
is
that.
one guy's salary? The Patreon didn't even make as much as you think remotely.
I don't believe that at all.
I think that
Bro, if they're donating to Seth on just like a normal live stream, constantly and he's shit talking them and they're still donating $20 here and there. A project very hyped up like Naruto versus Ichigo had to make well over 5K. Well over 5K. And that's at least. That's me saying at least 5.
The Patreon was only like 1K.
That's bullshit.
Oh,
1K is not true.
That's what I mean. The Patreon's only like 1K, bro. Like,
No way.
you know what I mean?
Don't believe that.
Yeah, it's really not that high. Like, people over exaggerate, I think.
I think you're
And
under
like, dude,
exaggerating.
so not only was the Patreon like only like around 1K, but like there's like 10 people in my like Discord server
There's
that
many
were
who
like
left,
$100 donors. You know what I
joined.
mean? So like,
hundreds of thousands. Hundreds
like
to
those guys pretty
thousands.
much paid for the whole
Not hundreds.
thing themselves of the Patreon. You know what I mean? So
bro.
yeah.
So in the
Um,
screenshot here, where he's talking to me directly after we had advertised the
10K.
Patreon, he confirms it made around $10,000, which directly goes against what he was saying. And if anyone's going to know the amount that the Patreon had, it's going to be...
And it has to be more than 10K, bro. Ain't no way in hell only 10K. I don't believe that. He's probably just showing, yeah, 10K, but I'm pretty sure it had to be more.
us too, considering we were the ones working on the project. And I got some other stuff to show you guys, so enjoy these little recordings from two of the people who supported the project in the Patreon, who both donated over $2,000 themselves.
And then on stream, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the Patreon hardly got any money." I was like, "Bruh, me, Billy, freaking Thomas Azrael White, like we all put in a ton of money in this. Like
How
you
much?
guys,
How much did you
Like,
contribute? Because you used to have a pretty frequent, like, you had a consistent job at that time, didn't you?
yeah, I was working warehouse, working like 90-hour weeks. I was busting my ass.
How much
Um,
do you believe you contributed altogether? Like, what did it accumulate to?
At least 2K.
Yeah, it's similar to what Billy donated by himself. It's funny because Seth claims that in total it made about $1,000. There's a screenshot I actually found where he verbatim states that within the first few months it made $10,000, which directly goes against what he said on stream.
Yeah, it's just like you like went at it, and then when he said, "Yo, it didn't make any money," like his next stream, I was in there calling him out, and I was like, "Yo, like what the fuck? Why the fuck are you lying to your fans? Like, why are you being a rat?" And he just never answered. I was like, "This."
Because money is involved.
Towards
Money is
Naruto versus
involved.
Ichigo,
A lot of shit can get fuzzy. real
I
quick.
didn't donate into Patreon because I quickly left the Patreon once I realized it was bullshit and you weren't actually getting anything.
Okay.
So I was just donating to him directly for the Naruto vs Ichigo project.
And what do you think that accumulated to?
Around $2 to $3 grand. If I'm lowballing, $2 grand.
Here's a screenshot of him saying that, as it stands right now, he doesn't even care. He's just going to make the project for money. But we're going to get more into that in the video because you guys need some context on this situation. The result of this video will be false drama spread about me. His larger audience aren't going to listen to me, regardless of the massive preponderance of evidence that I'm going to show in the video.
Of course.
Seth will no doubt lie about me and 100% try to come after me beyond just a YouTube response or a response on his Twitch. I will absolutely have people come after me that don't know the nuance of the situation, especially people that he has lied to, and so on and so forth. And blah, blah, blah. There's so many bad things that could come out of this. But here's the thing. Outside of YouTube, I have literally nothing to lose. So one thing I won't do is allow myself to be a scapegoat for this sociopathic rat fuck. I also implore anyone out there who has known Seth for many years, especially before this YouTube stuff, to make your voices heard and to share this video. I bet there's drama out there.
Okay, so what are we gonna do about this realistically? You say he's talking to minors. Are we going to authorities, or are we just gonna talk about how bad of a person he is on YouTube? Y'all not going to the authorities. I honestly think this shit's just a waste of time. And I get it, you're covering for yourself, you're making sure you got a good name, whatnot. But the internet don't care about you having a good name, my boy. They gonna call you everything in the book. They might even call me something for reacting to it and having this type of stance, but it is what it is. But if he's really doing illegal activities and y'all not going to authorities, what are we even talking about? Why are we even on here? What's the point? Like, yeah, you're covering for yourself, so, literal millions of people don't come after you, right? I understand that part. But what else are we going to do about it?
About Seth that hasn't seen the light of day because of how intimidated people are to expose him. Don't worry though, I'll do what everyone else is too scared to do or has failed at in the past. Believe me when I say, for a long time, I did consider Seth one of my closest, if not my best friend, and I have many good memories of us, especially all the times we watched TV shows together, had streams together, made some fire-ass videos together, played games in private, spent times having some very deep conversations. There are many things that I can look back on and say those were good times with him, but sadly, you guys don't even know a
Times are
smidgen
over.
of the bad shit that happened behind the scenes. I could actually tell that part of him did enjoy our dynamic together, but there was always something about him that made me very careful around him, especially with what I would tell him
'Cause he's
about myself. Even people from the Google Plus days that knew Seth a lot
Google
longer than I did,
Plus.
all warned me to be very careful with staying friends with him. This was a place that Seth had spent a lot of time in before the YouTube and Discord stuff really popped off. But I want to give you some context as to my situation before I became friends with Seth. During the end of 2016, I was living with my grandmother after moving out of a very abusive household, which I was in since around 5 years old. I witnessed violence almost every single day, drug use. I was abused myself so much to the point that when I would walk home from school, I would literally pray that it would be a normal day when I would get home. I couldn't even complete my schooling or go to university, which was an aspiration of mine. As I turned around 17, 18, I wanted to do journalism and that just fell through completely. It was so bad actually that I remember when I was around 18 years old that I literally cried because I wasn't able to be accepted into a single university because I didn't complete my high schooling. Obviously, I should have known at the time, but that's how important it was to me, and because of my home situation, I could
just
never
wanted to get
complete
out.
any schooling. I couldn't even pursue my initial inspirations of wanting to be in the AFL, which is the sport that we play in Australia. It's a very unique sport that we only play in our country, and
Not rugby.
couldn't pursue that because of my childhood too. I even experienced my stepfather beating my mother countless times when I was younger, especially at times when I was too young to help. Trying to strangle her to death in her sleep, which I could actually hear from my bedroom while I'd be lying in bed petrified. And much, much more all around from the ages of 5 to 18, and I've rarely ever spoken about this on stream or in videos. In fact, not many people know anything about my childhood. They just think I'm an asshole that streams and talks to people and that I had an easy childhood, but it was
Nobody
it couldn't be
knows.
further from the truth. Maybe one day
Nobody knows.
in the future I'll explain
And a
all
lot
this
of
in a
people don't
video,
care.
but just know that's just a small bit of
Understandable.
it. And yeah, my life up to this point has not been a fun experience, that's for sure. From 2015 to December of 20...
Very respectable for Clyde to make himself vulnerable. Very respectable.
2016, I had a girlfriend that I would say was the closest thing that I had to family my entire life. Someone I legitimately would have died for if I had to at the time. It's cringe to say this, but I do want to lay out how
it's
important this
understandable.
person was to me because it's very
If you've had nothing your entire life and then something comes into your life and makes it better, 9 times out of 10, yeah, people will die for them because it's like, I have nothing else but you. Why not? Fuck it. You're the only thing. So that's understandable. Don't.
pivotal to this story.
It's only cringe to people that's always had other options in life.
And how I met Seth and just that whole time period in general. I've been through some bad stuff and have lost a lot in life, but this legitimately destroyed me as a person for many years. No one had treated me like she had did at the time, and at the time I took it for granted. Honestly, without giving
that
myself an
sucks.
excuse, a lot of it was because of my past bad experiences, and I really did take it for granted. After a year with this individual, they had left me completely in around December of 2016, and this was a month into already being friends with Seth. Throughout this time period, Seth and I would have some pretty deep conversations, and it was good to have a friend at the time to talk to that actually listened. Seth honestly didn't tell me anything that I didn't already know. I already knew the scope of the situation, and that's what made me even more depressed, but I did appreciate having him to talk to about this stuff. That's what mattered to me. That being said, my mental health
Understandable.
and my physical health became really bad. Almost everything about me started to go downhill, as if my body was in this weak, dying state because I was that depressed. I wrote 3-page suicide notes. I researched the easiest way to essentially commit toaster and bath, and I even bought medication specifically to overdose on. At the time too, I also kept messing up quite a lot because I had a undiagnosed case of anxiety, which I then got diagnosed thanks to seeing a doctor and some psychologists. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't even get proper employment because I probably would have looked like a crazy person while working at the job. Losing this person put into perspective that I honestly didn't know what I had at the time, and it made me feel even more awful because the more I started to sit there and stew over how she was gone, the more that my life just was
Makes it
worse and
worse.
worse. I was pretty much isolated to online life and doing nothing but just talking about which
Anime.
fictional drawing punches the other one harder in the face. This was an aspiration of mine to make these YouTube videos, but I can't lie and say that I wasn't having a bad time, because this should have been some of the best years of my life when I was doing these collaborations, you know, with Swag and Seth and everybody, and it wasn't. It was horrible. If you actually listen to a lot of the tonality in my very older videos from like 2017, or even some of the ones from 2016 that you may hear at the end of the year, you can hear a very distinct difference in my voice. I don't sound very good. It was actually 2 times at the end of 2016 where I almost drank myself to death, and this was actually the goal of mine. I was trying to do it on purpose, one of which resulted in me waking up at a beach standing up. That's how blackout drunk I was the night before. I came back to reality pretty much standing up there, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Where am I? Like, I was that drunk that I was standing on a footpath near this beach called Eastern Beach, and I'm looking across, and I pull my phone out, and I'm trying to order an Uber. And I'm waiting for this Uber to come, and I'm still so drunk that it hasn't even been ordered. That's how out of it I was, and then I pretty much had what I assume was alcohol poisoning for multiple days afterwards. Like I said before, there's actually probably videos out there from around like the end of 2016 to the start of 2017 where I, like, on a whim uploaded some very depressing videos where I didn't have anyone to speak to, so I recorded a video and talked about my situation, which it's kind of sad that people might use something like that against me, but it
is what it is. It's ammunition, bro. You make yourself vulnerable, people try and take advantage of it.
As pathetic as it sounds, being left by this girl and knowing that I was replaced pretty much destroyed my self-confidence and my mental health. I didn't have anything at the time except a 3,000 subscriber YouTube channel, and I was someone that already had a lot of mental baggage because of my very violent childhood. To give you guys some more context too, I actually grew up with a schizophrenic mother and an abusive stepfather who had spent around 12 years in jail before he met my mother, so he himself was pretty mentally off too, and they were both not only chain smokers but alcoholics who would literally drink, and I'm not even kidding, an entire boxed wine satchel to themselves per day. And yeah, when I was around 3 years old, my father killed himself in our backyard by hanging himself off of a tree. As it stands right now, as I record this video, I live alone and I don't really have anyone to talk to from my family. I haven't actually spent Christmas with anyone for the past 5 years, and my birthdays have pretty much all been on stream with you guys. When 2017 rolled on in, I collabed with Seth and Swag a lot, and I developed anxiety disorder really hard. It was so bad that I used to get paranoid that I actually sounded crazy in these collaboration videos. Pretty much I'd be recording with Swag and Seth, or Chuck if we ever collab with Chuck, and I'd be, sitting there and I'd say my sentence, and then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, did I sound okay? Like, I had so much self-doubt in myself because of this development of anxiety disorder, which I didn't actually know what it was at the time, and if you guys deal with anxiety, you'll know that it's f***ing horrible. I'd rather be depressed till the day I die than deal with anxiety.
Anxiety does suck. I was diagnosed with it years ago. When I was in the military, it's like pretty much when I got it. I would always question myself, oh, am I doing the right thing, or am I going to get in trouble? And it was, I believe the therapist said, you're going to extreme. So if I did one bad thing in my head, I would say, oh, I did this one bad thing, and now this person that with higher rank is going to get upset, and they were already upset at me last week because of something I messed up on, and now they might, write me up, and then I'll have less pay, and then I'll lose rank, and then yada yada yada, and then I'll lose my career, and then I'll get kicked out, blah blah blah. Like, that's how my thought process was when I was in the military. And ever since I got out, I've gotten a lot better with it, just leaving that environment. But I understand, yeah, anxiety, it really does, it keeps you up at night. Like, you're trying to go to sleep and you're starting to think about stuff that in the long run most likely is not going to even happen, but you can't even really focus on that. Thinking.
If I had to choose one or the other, because anxiety is scary. I used to be in bed freaking out to the point where I'd be scared to go to sleep each night. I wouldn't even want to go to bed because I didn't want to lie in bed and be so scared of my own self freaking out for no reason. That's how not only stressed I was, but how much in pain I was mentally. I was also at the time suffering pretty heavily from something called sleep apnea for many years, and I didn't even know I actually...
Makes you snore and you're like choking while you're snoring. I have it too. I've Gotta breathe.
Actually had this, but it was making my mental health way worse. Sleep apnea, for those of you who don't know, essentially means that your tongue and your throat blocks your airway when you sleep, so you snore so intensely that you suffocate for seconds, and this pretty much leads to brain damage, excessive tiredness, and can cause things like strokes, heart attacks, memory loss, blood pressure problems. My anxiety...
Okay, I didn't know it did all that shit. I thought I was just risking choking to death in my sleep. I didn't know it caused brain issues. Wow.
Mental health was being amplified by this, and I had no idea. I just thought, man, I just have this really bad habit of waking up with headaches all the damn time. Like, maybe it's a response from, you know, how much I look at screens all day, like I've got eye strain or something like that, and it's giving me headaches from staying up too late, but apparently it wasn't. It was actually because I'd been dealing with this snoring problem since I was like maybe 15 to 17 years old, and I had no idea this whole time. The reason that I started to notice that this was definitely sleep apnea was because I actually woke up choking on my own saliva multiple times, and people who had heard me sleeping would say that if I slept on my back, they could hear me literally snoring like an old man, and it would pause for multiple seconds. Like,
And
sometimes
it happens again.
10 seconds I would go without breathing and then snore and then go again. Mix this in with being suicidal because you pretty much have nothing, and it's the perfect recipe to be taken advantage of. For example, to explain a bit more about Seth, because so far it probably sounds like, wow, he's such a helpful good guy, he was there for you during the worst time in your life. Well, sometimes I would message Seth and ask if he'd want to call because, you know, I thought he was cool and I wanted to hang out with him at the time, and I thought we were getting along really well, and he'd just straight up call me a retard or tell me to shut up if I over-explain stuff in Call with Swag. I mean, here's him threatening to block me for literally defending myself against rudeness in calls. In fact, this is nothing like the stuff you're going to see further on in the video, because these characteristics were only small things too. Because as he opened up
Just
his
over
Discord
time.
server that same
That
year,
worked.
he started to become so infatuated by the 24/7 ass kissing from his fan base that he allowed Chuck to be bullied so hard in his servers by strangers, and he pretty much laughed while this would happen. You guys may not know this because it's been so kept hush-hush, but Chuck actually left his servers multiple times. Not always by his own choice too, usually because he would get bullied out of them, and stopped collabing with Seth for a long time, which he tries his best to deny all responsibility on that, which is just to this day the most ridiculous thing ever, that he actually thinks he was in the right for that stuff. And then people started to call me Chuck's replacement because, well, I could deal with his bullshit, but people like Chuck and everyone else who could smell what was going on, they didn't want to be around it. Here's a blurred screenshot I have that Seth
Understandable.
was actually planning to spread around to make Chuck look like a pedophile. I will never share the contents of this
Wow.
image, but I have access to it and various other things that he was going to use on other people to expose them. Now, Chuck has since apologized for some of the ways he treated me in the past, and I actually like Chuck. I'm going to say that right now. Chuck's developed as a human being and is an actual nice guy at his core. I don't really have anything bad to say about him, and whatever he said in the past was just a product of the fact that he was expected to act a certain way back then. I
I've been in Chuck's live streams a couple times. He's kind of cool.
understand why.
Kind of cool.
But
Kind
let
of
me
cool.
show you guys something really f***ed up that I found on my PC, which Seth definitely wouldn't want people to see. Back in 2017, when I was at my lowest point, both he and Seth laughed at a meme that they made showing the following. Yes, that's me in 2017. And here's a recording that I have of Chuck confirming that this thing is actually real, in case Seth tries to lie and say that this is fake or it's some kind of image that we all laughed at together, which is not the truth. Bro, I was thinking the other day, randomly, do you remember that image from like 2017 of me hanging off the tree? Do you remember
Oh my
that?
god! Oh my god, dude!
It came to mind
Don't
because
remind me of that.
I-
Don't remind me of that.
Yeah, I know,
That's
I know.
terrible.
I
That's
was-
terrible.
Oh my God. It came up because I'm going through all these old selfies I had, and then I was like, what the f is this? And then I just remembered having that.
Oh, that's so dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe I did.
No,
I mean, Seth made it, but I sent it to you. And oh, that was terrible, dude.
No, I've no ill will towards you about that. It was just funny because it just randomly came to mind. And I was like, I wonder if Chuck remembers this, because I forgot completely.
Oh my god.
Anyone from Seth's original SS debate group, which was essentially his moderator group on his Discord server, will attest that Chuck was thrown to the wolves, and I feel Chuck was mostly only hostile towards people in that server because Seth would try to set this high level of expectation that he needs to be a big debater, and even baited Chuck into multiple different unfavorable debates and would make fun of Chuck if he lost, in front of strangers who he had only known for...
I never understood these debate people. Like, it's not even that serious. It's just not real. Like,
Weeks to months.
I
Alright,
don't-
Parrot, so can you remember all the times that Seth tried to instigate myself into drama with people? I mean, we could talk about all the other people he's done it to, not just myself, but I know for a fact that you're
This guy made the Bobo video.
aware he has had, he
That's a
said some
good
pretty
ass
bad shit
video.
about me behind the scenes to you and to others, and he purposefully wanted to get me into crap so he could cause me problems with, say, yourself or other debaters in the server.
Yeah. I mean, the most notable thing I remember is him specifically trying to start beef between me and you over like various Bleach things or the like KSI, like Logan Paul
Yeah.
video me and him did, where he would come to me and talk about like how much you'd been, you know, talking bad about me behind my back and stuff, and I assume he was like saying similar stuff to you about me, and then we got in call and started talking about it, and it just was like nothing, like you hadn't been talking shit. There was no beef whatsoever. It was really weird. He really wanted to manufacture this like argument or conflict between us, and to be honest, he's just sort of been like that about lots and lots of different people hanging around in that community.
Yeah,
I definitely remember him.
It's very I'll let you finish in a second, but it is very reminiscent of the 2 attempts he made with Noodles and Trini to debate me, but I ended up becoming friends with the both of them because they actually liked talking with me, which was kind of ironic.
Right. Yeah. And he had very weird things to say about you to me in private at the time when you were sort of like helping him out with lots of like sponsorship stuff and like editing all his videos or whatever, and like, you know, very like, you'd think like you two would be very close, right? And you were like spending a lot of time together, but he would just like always talk about how he didn't trust you or how he thought you were like trying to manipulate him, or that nothing he could say to you would be honest. And I think that was because he was manipulating you. A lot of the stuff he was saying to you wasn't honest, and he was always hankering for like this drama and conflict, which, you know, you were one of the people he was using to do that.
That's definitely for sure. Yeah, that's true. Around that time period, I remember this one time there was a guy called, his name was something Boo or something like that, and he posted something to do with the Naruto vs Ichigo project in the server, and Seth's his like instant thought is that he accused me of trying to do something to the project, and he's like, I'm canceling this, and he's going off me in VC. It turns out I had nothing to do with it, but he doesn't even apologize to me. And this is during a time period where, like you just said, I'm managing his sponsors, his videos, I'm editing for him, I'm getting audio guys to his audio, I'm making his thumbnails, his tags for his videos, assisting him however I can, and he's like 24/7 just causing me problems. I mean, it was like, it was to the point with working with him that I would even help him structure our collabs so that they were done correctly, like our Ichigo versus the Akatsuki, Naruto versus the Espada videos. I helped format those videos to make sure that they would turn out to be absolutely supreme quality. I was also doing these videos with a lot of passion while also being messed with all the time, and I mean, you can probably recall too that it wasn't just yourself that he was trying to set me up with debates with too. He probably also had talked like endless shit with the SS guys about me too, isn't that correct?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, even in just like the general group chats, he was definitely always desperate, I think, to like get you part of that hierarchy in some way, which, I mean, you always sort of resisted, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't ever want to be around. No, I never wanted to be around those guys. Not because I necessarily disliked them. I just didn't like the vibe of that stuff. I wanted nothing to do with that group because he treated all you guys like mercenaries and like throwaway guys that he could use to debate for him.
Yeah, and I also think part of it was that, you know, obviously he's placed himself at the top of this like debating hierarchy, and so if he can show that anyone else is lower in that hierarchy, he can just consider himself better than.
Well, I mean, that's understandable. When it comes to a debate, it doesn't matter how many facts you have. It does also come down to like public opinion. So if more people like you, it's easier for them to. And in Seth's case, the evidence shows that he has a cult like fan base. So even if he loses, like say they make a video like Hashirama versus Broly, right? And then Seth's like, Hashirama wins because technically he could put the wood cells, whatever the fuck, right? Doesn't make sense, right? But his fan base would say, yeah, he's right. And other people might even break off, be like, no, that doesn't make sense. Those people will now get ostracized from the. And humans are group like group like animals, whatever. Like we're not group like animals. Well, some people are group like animals 100%, but we're social creatures, right? So we need to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Unfortunately, people think being in a Discord group makes them better than other people, which, yeah, you're now part of a bigger group, but you're still not in something that's like prestigious. Still just hanging out on. You guys got to remember, you guys are still just hanging out online. Keep it at that.
And then by default without having to do anything, which he never really would debate anybody good in the first place.
Why would
true,
you?
That is true.
When you make it to the top, why would you debate somebody good? Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest boxers ever, he stopped taking fights from real challengers. That's why he fought Logan Paul, because he was like, oh, this would be an easy dub. If you're 50-0, why would you go against somebody that could actually give you a challenge? You have all the leverage and you have everything to lose.
See, like, I'm not going to be one of those people that will sit here and be like, I'm better than Seth or anything, but we had countless arguments where, like, I was clearly able to beat him on certain subjects and so on, and anytime you would do it, or Noodles or anyone else would do it, he would get very aggressive towards us, and along with that, he would send you guys into servers to go and debate, right, on certain subjects, but then he'd claim that because he was automatically above you two in rank in his server, that anything you guys do is a feat that goes back to him.
Yeah, and that's why, like,
Bro said, whatever you guys do good, it comes to me. If you guys lose, that has nothing to do with me.
Wanted to instigate
Boy,
people
hell
to
no.
do debates with you. Like,
hell
that he
no.
was already, like, above in this hierarchy.
Boy,
because then he can just say
hell
he knows better than you or is better than you by default without having to do anything.
Yeah, we did have a lot of beef in 2018 and 19, and it was usually it was on topics that, like, he didn't know much about, so if he hears that I'm knowledgeable on, say, the UFC, he will want Noodles to debate me, then we become friends. If it's politics, he tries to get Trini to come after me, but then we end up becoming friends. He did the same with Kappa. Him and Kappa tried to orchestrate the Trini debate, and it just didn't work, because Trini was like, Clyde's not even that bad, and then we became friends. And then you and we talked about history and stuff together, and we got along very well. Turns out there's no beef there, it was just him trying to set it up.
Yeah, and it's not like you're not special in this regard either. Like, he was just generally always trying to pull weird passive aggressive shit like this and instigate sort of conflicts with tons of people. I mean, me and Chuck, he was constantly trying to, like, set me up against Chuck just to make Chuck look bad, and you know, for his own amusement and to make him look better by extension.
He was very happy when Hashi beat Chuck to the point where he was laughing about it when Hashi was saying in the call, there was a line he said where he was like, what are you, snarfling, Chuck? And Seth loved it, bro. He loved seeing Chuck get humiliated in that debate.
Right. Yeah. And he would, like, encourage that sort of thing from people anyway.
Yeah. Tried to orchestrate, obviously people will know this by now, but he essentially orchestrated all the swag debates with yourself and then with Noodles, and his attempt at first was to make swag get humiliated by you guys in the debate, but then once he's seen that he could take advantage of the playing field by being on swag's side, he used that to get on swag's good side, and yeah, just manipulated the situation, man. I mean, if he can do it to someone like me that was his closest associate and helped him make financial, gain all the time and always wanted the best for him, I mean, he's done it to pretty much anyone. It really doesn't matter who you are. Evidence of that, too, is the fact he did it to Chuck so much, and you just helped, back up that claim, because Chuck had copped it so fucking hard back in the day, man. It was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Seth just really wanted to see him get humiliated. That's why he, like, encouraged him, or basically, like, pressured him heavily to going into, like, the politics servers and started debating, like, moral philosophy with, like, the,
moral philosophy. What the
moral
hell?
philosophy or whatever, right? It's like debating these philosophy students and stuff. Like, obviously he's gonna look bad, but that was just what he wanted. And yeah, with the swag stuff, I mean, afterwards he would just, like, consistently lie about the conversations me and him had because he decided he wanted to, like, switch over to being Swag's buddy instead of mine or whatever. There's, like, a video up where, like, whatever, all my biggest haters try to jump me at the same time, and it doesn't really work out, but, like, I call him out for, like, saying certain things that then he's, like, not willing to admit to.
Yeah, like, you would know this too, Parrot. You can actually back this up. Think about the countless amount of times that he talks Swag behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, all the time, constantly. Yeah. He really looked down on Swag and just thought that he was, like, an idiot or beneath him, and didn't really know anything about Naruto and just watched.
Which is wild because I remember there was a point Swag was at the top of the, well, in my opinion, Swag was at the top of the Naruto power scaling and stuff like that. And it wasn't even really power scaling. He was making videos back when I was in high school, freshman year. I remember Swag burst on the scene. What are the Naruto ranks? Right? We all know what the Naruto ranks are, but it's good to see a video like that and to go more into a deep perspective. Oh, what does the Sharingan do? Like just these tutorial based videos, right? Which is smart because those are like evergreen videos. Like somebody new to Naruto, they'd be like, oh, okay, what does the Sharingan do? Bam, Swag Kage's videos first thing to pop up. Forever will get money off that video. So that was genius. So that's why I always thought like, oh man, Swag Kage, he's at the top. And I found Seth about like power scaling and stuff like that.
Wanted to like use the fact that Swag was like this big channel to get ahead. He never really had anything good to say about Swag at all.
No,
he
didn't.
Like
no, even in private with
business
me.
partnership.
Yeah, that's true. He'd always refer to him as a partner, not a friend. That was common language I'd always hear. When it come to Swag, he'd try to like instigate me and him debating political stuff. But bro, when me and Swag are in call, like, I'll drop any subject. I don't care about politics when he and I are in call. And he was always trying to make this like weird agenda. Like that Swag and I were always like, you know, at each other's throats, like conservative versus lefty type shit. But it was really never like that. It was actually him 24/7 just talking bad about Swag, and then it would trickle down to me where my language would change around him because when you're around toxic people, it becomes the norm. And like, I would say stuff about Swag.
100% true.
I've always considered him a friend, and I'm sure that he is absolutely aware that, you know, me and him, like regardless of all the stuff, will always be friends, you know, at our core. But it was really propagated by him, bro. Like, and you've seen it yourself. He fucking hated Swag behind the scenes.
Yeah, which I mean was a lot to do with like his own ego as well, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely jealousy of his channel size. He hated how Swag got big on Naruto so casually, and he really didn't like that he was so much more likable. And what's funny is that my passion for Naruto, which has been burnt out from working on Seth's channel, is the reason why his Naruto videos even did well. Noodles and yourself helped him scale the videos. Now, I did the editing for the videos, and the reason the videos look so good is because I treated them like they were my own content.
Right. Yeah. I know a lot of those videos you did were
Should have
like,
just did that to your own, Clyde, but
way longer on them than I ever would have with the editing.
Which he would, by the way, rush me with, and he would be like, MJ would have had it done sooner, but and this is no offense to MJ, I like MJ, but MJ is quite notorious amongst a lot of us creators for taking a long time for getting videos done on time. I don't mean to throw him under the bus, truthfully, but he really did. He's done it to me and Swag and Seth multiple times where he's taken too long. I was always good with communication. If I took extra time out of laziness, or let's say I wasn't motivated to do it, I would always be vocal and ask for extra time.
We all got that one editor in the YouTube community. We got that one editor that's really, really, really good. But he is just so damn lazy. It's nothing new, baby.
And I always really did. If I was given enough time, I would always put a lot of love into those videos and try to make them as good as my own.
Yeah, and you know, also video editing is like a really, really tedious thing. So yeah,
100%.
Like, no hate on anybody who delays their video editing. I certainly do when I'm editing as well.
Yeah,
so
I do it with my own. My own videos can take 3 weeks to make sometimes. Dongai Ichigo took me a month because I wanted to do it very meticulously and not rush anything.
Yeah, and it's really boring as well. But
yeah, I gotta go.
No, I remember him really pressuring you on video deadlines a lot, like quite excessively.
And that's why I don't edit.
Yeah.
On more than one
for
occasion.
this channel.
And I remember like
anyway.
the MJ comment you were talking about too. Yeah, he used to say that sort of shit to me privately as well. He'd be like, "Man, Clyde's editing like takes too long or whatever," and
takes too long, but it gets results.
Whoever else is making this videos.
The funny part was, of all the editors, it turns out I was the most consistent one of any of them. Like, I was the one that was the most reliable with the advertisements, because I didn't just edit, I also got him sponsorships and used to help him out with second channel content and setting up his Twitch. I helped him get his Twitch name through Living Ichigo, set that up for him. You know, like just the sponsors alone, the amount of money he made because of me doing the negotiations for him was crazy. There was even deals that I set up that were 10K that he never even did because he just didn't want to do them too. So there was even money that was technically just like thrown away.
Because he can't edit his own videos, so.
Price Chuck.
True.
Chuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
he doesn't write his own script most of the time either, so.
He also doesn't do his thumbnails, his tags.
That's a good ass
titles.
You don't do
He
the.
asked me to start doing it.
Steph, you don't do the tags or title. Well, shit, I ain't gonna lie. I hired somebody to do my tags too. But the difference between me and Steph is I'm pumping out videos left and right every single day, and I was like, I just don't want to do it. It sounds like to me it takes a long time for one of these uh, Naruto or Ichigo or whatever videos. It takes a long time for this shit to get done. The tags could have already been done. Okay, you make the video, you record it, bro. The tags is simple. There's several websites to help you put the tags on.
Tweets for him too, and I said I can't do that.
Thumbnails, understandable. I don't do my thumbnails either. That shit gets outsourced.
And it's like, your Twitter has to be you. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Twitter and stuff like that has to be. I don't even use
so
Twitter
many of those
like that, anyways.
His videos, like the scripts, were just entirely written.
I use it for OnlyFans.
I mean, some of those videos aren't even up anymore.
I don't pay for the
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
The videos that are up right now, like most of his biggest,
it's free on Twitter.
Scripts that were written by me and edited by you.
He popped off at me one time because I couldn't get a Death Note video done in a single day. I took an extra day. The video still popped off anyway. It was just like, if you want quality, you can't rush me, bro. Like, I don't even edit my own videos that fast because I can't do it. It's too stressful.
Not in one
that
day.
Gorilla versus Grizzly Bear video.
You have to edit a video in one day.
Nope, it'd just be sloppy and look ugly. But that's pretty much that. I'll end the recording right.
The only thing Six is good at in life is literally eating and talking about Naruto, bruh.
Yeah.
I don't even know why y'all try to interact with him in his server. He doesn't have anything of value to offer the world. If it's not about a Naruto data book, like, why the are you talking to him? Have you heard him talk about anything else in existence? Like, what the why would you ever try to have a conversation with him? What do you gain? Why do you him then? Cause I upload Naruto content, dumbass. The what do you mean? Like, what? Cause I upload Naruto videos.
Speaking of his character, in private, Seth and I had talked about how in 2017 we thought that iDubbbz was low-key not as edgy as people were making him out to be, so we discussed making a video. Seth at the time was too scared of the backlash, so
I literally just talked about him.
Although a lot of my suspicions about iDubbbz being pretty soft turned out to be correct, iDubbbz was very famous for his content cop videos at the time and essentially destroying people's channels with a single video. I purchased clothing, assets for the video, I scripted it into a crazy long formatted documentary, and I pretty much ripped iDubbbz apart. However, the next day, I woke up to Seth and his server clowning me in the server and posting photos of myself from the video. I noticed over the years that this started to become a very common trend with Seth, throwing his friends under the bus if his fan base or lackeys thought it was funny. He kind of plays to the beat of the crowd. It's like someone constantly begging for approval in every single moment. Anything to be seen as likable. I can say for certain that his claims of martial arts are very inflated. He's pretty much been to like 10 classes in total.
My guy, you ain't got no raps on?
His ability to woe women is largely inflated and will...
Why is homie hitting the bag with the weightlifting belt on?
Get into that in the video. And even his debate accolades are pretty suspect.
The fuck? Hold on, we're gonna go back.
Largely inflated. 10 classes in total. His ability to woe women is largely
not too bad.
Inflated, and
we'll work on the technique, but not too bad.
His debate accolades are pretty suspect, which will also.
Terrible. I've seen some terrible punches.
Video. A lot of you guys that have been watching our streams for a pretty long time might actually remember Seth saying stuff like, "Ugh, I wish someone would just prove that Berserk is overrated, man. Like, I just don't think it's that good." And I can attest that he said stuff like this on stream with me.
Good luck proving that, my guy. I would say Berserk as a whole is fine. I say Berserk as a art, like the fan base and stuff like that, it's fine. It's great. But the corporation side of Berserk is absolutely fucking terrible. The CGI Berserk that they had, terrible. The games that came out, terrible. Like, everything else is fine. It's just the corporate side of Berserk is just absolutely god awful.
But then during another stream, after the unfortunate passing of the author, right, from a series that I fucking love, he suddenly pretends that he cares all of a sudden. He also did this countless times with Bleach, shitting on the series, then switching up when he knew that it would be beneficial both financially and publicly to support the series, especially with the anime returning.
Hey, there was a YouTuber who was saying, oh, you know, everybody, when Bleach comes back, there's going to be fake people that want to come back around. Don't let them back in the community. Guess we know who talking about now.
Fine to dislike a series. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, look what Seth said about Naruto. Look what Seth said about Bleach. Look what Seth said about this series.
Yeah,
like,
it
that's
doesn't
irrelevant.
matter. It's
the
a
point
fucking
is,
cartoon.
the constant lying to his fan base is the problem. If I don't like a series, I'll straight up tell you guys. To this day, I'm not a fan of Boruto. It's just my taste.
I haven't seen
don't
it
like
either.
it, and I'm not going to pretend.
I saw episode 3, and then I was like, man, fuck this. And then I saw a YouTube video about the manga. It was like the last fight. I was like, man, this shit fire.
And I really like it. Genuine chameleon behavior.
Manga's
Here's
fire.
an example.
But
Seth
anime
also did the
ass.
same when XXX Tentacion died, because I guess he thought that it was the right thing to do, or something like that, which I know for a fact he barely cared, and possibly didn't even listen to him. And I know this because I never once heard him reference X a single time, and at that time, I was a pretty damn big fan of his music. So I took
X goes fucking hard,
As I
bro.
also mentioned before with the instigating
will never
debates,
get
both
any
he
more.
and Kappa tried to sneakily coerce me into a debate with Trini after I assumed Seth didn't like that I was quite vocal about, like, political related stuff in call. Not necessarily the context of the actual political discourse we were having, but the fact that I sounded pretty knowledgeable kind of bothered him. He doesn't like when people know more about certain topics than he does, so I just claimed that my tiredness was too distracting and that I couldn't do the debate. I could smell exactly what was going on. At this time, Seth didn't like at all that I wouldn't take his crap in call, and I would argue with him quite a lot if he would give me attitude. Stating to Trini in private, verbatim, this is what he said to Trini, I need you to take someone out for me. And Trini told me this on the sly in advance before he could do anything.
Bro, what?
Seth also at the time was
I need you to do me a favor.
asking his SA server members, aka
Black
his
Ops,
mods, to get information on me in
Boy,
one of the
hell no.
chats. He called this his Black Ops chat. A lot of this was being inspired by the fact that I was letting people know in advance that he was kind of a bit crazy, because
Your
he was always
imagination
rude
is
to
wild.
everyone on Discord, regardless if you're a friend, an enemy, or he was just in a bad mood. He could never control his emotions to the point where he would have so many friendships get cut off just on a whim. Even Nux Taku, who I'd like to assume he and I are on pretty decent
Shout out
terms
Nux.
last time we talked, was pretty positive, and
I think Nux is alright. Like, as a YouTuber, I think his content was fire. I think just as a personal, like, personality type, I think he does go too far. Like, we got issues with, like, those, what are they called? The VTubers? I was like, bro, you doing a little much right now. But, I mean, shout out to Nux, man. He's still floating around, so he's doing his thing.
I appreciate
say
he
that.
reached out to me and wanted to call about some stuff.
I
But
will say
that being
that.
said, he had some pretty
Still
weird
around.
experiences with Seth too during this time period, and it was over really petty stuff. It's also ironic with him getting so insecure about the craziness stuff too, because every time that he's had drama with a friend, the second that anything kicks off, he starts telling the world about every single private thing that he's ever been told by them. For example, with
That's
me,
not good.
starts talking about my relationship stuff. Starts talking about my IRL, my mental health. Just look at this screenshot on the screen right now.
Look like
It's
Ice-T.
literally him mocking me for being depressed, alongside the image from before, which you can see where he edited me hanging off of a tree because I was suicidal. Who the f acts like this? Another example, Noodles with his girlfriend at the time, leaking his address, trying to get him doxxed. He even lied about almost every single detail in their drama, which no one even knows about because he played the entire audience like a fiddle. They all think Noodles is like this high IQ anime villain, when in truth, a lot of the drama with Noodles and Swag and Seth, it actually all was inspired by the fact that Noodles just always wanted to debate Swag. That's where it all came from initially. When it comes to Swag Kage, if Seth has the opportunity to, he's going to air out every single bit of private information that he knows about Swag Kage. And listen, we're going to get a little bit into that further into the video, but I'm not going to share the actual intricacies or details themselves, but there is something very important which Swag needs to see in this video. Because if he sees this and he still associates with Seth after this video, he's a f***ing idiot. Another example, he actually told people that Trini got molested by his neighbor. He also laughed at this guy called Tippo for being raped as a kid. Famdingo? Well, he laughed at him because he attempted suicide on stream in 2017. I mean, again, here's him openly mocking people from the old server I used to share with Famdingo, called the Dingo Den, and literally making fun of my mental health while knowing I am going through the worst time of my life. To this day, all of the drama, the people that got bullied, made fun of in that server, all the fucked up shit that there's that still probably hasn't even came out and no one knows about, right? To this day, he still thinks that he did nothing. Like, he still believes that he was getting attacked by people for no reason and victimizes himself to the degree where it's, like, actually delusional. During the infamous Boruto collab that Seth Swag and I did, when I mentioned I was planning to make a video giving my honest thoughts on Boruto, which involved me having to actually like watch and read it, Seth said, weren't we gonna do that collab? And I said, well, we still can if you'd like, and we got Swag onto the video. Now, the only reason that collaboration happened was because I knew that if I did it solo, Seth would have cried about it, because this had actually happened in a past video that I did with Swag.
Are y'all sharing revenue from this shit? So this video is uploaded on Swag's channel, but is the revenue split between you two now? Is this the reason why Seth is upset, or is he upset just because you're talking to Swag?
A video where Swag and I talked about an alternate ending of Naruto involving Madara, and Seth got so upset because he assumed that we stole that topic from him, as he planned to do Momoshiki versus Madara, that he cried about it for weeks and started to imply that I was a rat. Same with Swag. He like pretty much didn't trust us for months after that. He legit thought we went out of our way to do that in a malicious way. I can say to this day, now that I have absolutely zero connection with Seth, I had no intentions to steal the video. If I did, I'd straight up admit it right now. But this is where his weird paranoia started to get worse and worse the more that I knew him. The more that I started to get on him about his mental health and the way that he treated others, the more that he started to become really paranoid about everyone coming after him. He'd always think that I had some ulterior motive, like I was trying to get something from him, steal money, etc. Even with random people, regardless of how nice they were, it didn't matter. He'd do it with them too. In October of 2017, I said to Seth,
if you guys hear a noise, I got someone here mowing my lawn,
who at the time had videos with the quality of Windows Movie
I don't know
Maker.
how.
Yo, let's collab.
How it'll get picked up in the microphone, but just letting you know, I don't edit this shit,
and I'll edit it,
and I'm not about to. So deal with it.
Let's do the Espada versus the Akatsuki. He was pretty excited.
If you're this deep into the video, shout out to you.
What I could do, and at the time was very impressed. I even recorded the video footage for his sponsor on the video, which I believe at the time was Alsword. If I get it wrong, whatever. But I was paid around like 250 USD to do this, which was cool. It was the first time I'd been paid to edit, and I mostly did it because I actually just wanted him to have a cool video, and I'd always said, I actually want to make videos with you, I like collaborating with you, and obviously I'm going to work hard because my channel...
So you edited this one video, you got 250 bucks for it? That's good, honestly, but it depends on how good the video did. I think this video did really amazing. You're only getting 250 bucks, that's...
At the time was small, so by collaborating, my channel grows. If I work hard for him, my channel grows. It's beneficiary for the both of us. So, you know, I edited this video in a pretty quick manner due to the video needing to be done by a certain time. It was actually around 50 minutes, if I am remembering that correctly.
Oh, hell no!
I downloaded it on YouTube. But normally, to give you guys some context, normally a video like this would have taken me 2 to 3 weeks to produce. I did it in a few days.
Hell no.
If you want to see the difference in videos before and after I started editing for him, just look at the videos coming out nowadays versus the ones that you can see where I worked on them.
You can see
I actually have a
this
file
one on the right has way more
which is
work.
related to Sony Vegas, which I use to edit my videos, and it tells me every single...
Bro literally just downloaded one fucking scene from Naruto and put it on the left side. That's it. I could do that shit. I could do the one on the right too, but the one on the right takes more effort. You're downloading clips from different sources, and most likely you're throwing a effect on it so it doesn't get picked up by YouTube copyright. And then you're constantly switching to different scenes from different shows. The one on the right takes way fucking effort. The one on the left is super simple. It still gets the point across, but you could tell the one on the right just takes more.
I've ever edited. If I need to, I can go and look and find every single video that I worked on for him, which to this day, pretty much no one even knows about. It's actually beyond pathetic and honestly lazy because he records some of his videos with a Turtle Beach headset because he doesn't want to bother with setting up a professional mic, which he could easily pay someone to do, or just buy one that's like auto set up when you plug it in. Anyway, later in the year, we plan to do Aizen versus Madara. This video was probably to this day the most stressful work that I've ever done apart from this video now. And looking back on it, other YouTubers would have been exposed for this situation due to how much work I had to do in such a short amount of time and how much I was shit on for.
Why is he rushing for these videos to be out so fucking fast? Bro, people are gonna eat up the content regardless. Why break your neck? I don't understand this. If this ain't, if you're ever making content, quick like YouTube tip, if you're ever making content of stuff that is not relevant, take your time. If it's not the hottest scoop of Twitch drama, nobody is gonna care.
For taking too long, which is ironic because I actually didn't take too long. I got it done in record time. But anyway, Seth and I sat down 3 days before Christmas in 2017, and he wanted to record this video off the cuff. I, at the time, wanted the video to be scripted and formatted correctly so I could edit the video like a well-structured breakdown. And I also didn't want to record the video without a script or at least some guidelines in front of me to spitball.
That's good.
Because the memory problems that I was having from my sleep deprivation and mental health, along with my mental fatigue in general, was making it really hard for me to improv record. And I tried to stress this to him, but he just didn't listen. Before I was experiencing these issues, I used to be able to record videos off the top of my head without a script. I actually used to make Call of Duty
That's
commentary
legendary,
videos
honestly.
on my old channel back in the day.
That is a legendary skill that a lot of people think it's super simple. To go off the cuff and have a multi-minute video and not have any stutters, not have any clouded, like what I'm doing now, having to think before I speak, that takes a lot of skill, honestly. Like natural skill.
Any of this anime stuff, and I had close to like 3,500 subs on that old channel before I got rid of it. To give you some perspective, sometimes the raw audio for one of my normal, highly edited videos, like say the Dong Guy video, the actual audio for a video like that was 3 hours long. If they're big like the Stark video or the Mugetsu video, it's even longer. Because of my sleeping issues, I have a lot of trouble reading. Not because I can't read as I'm reading a script right now, but it's because I like to have backup lines so that if I read something and I fuck it up but I don't notice because of my sleep deprivation, well, then I have backup lines in case there's weird noises, errors in the audio, or like I said, I mess up the line. If you record separate audio sessions, it can make the video sound super different. Here's an example.
100%.
Listen to my Naruto Destiny video where the video goes from normal recording.
I don't need to hear that shit. Let's fast forward.
My vision wouldn't even stay straight. I couldn't even play video games properly anymore because I'd feel like a zombie. It's like my brain was super dehydrated, and I was so weak that I'd need to sleep multiple times throughout the day. If you research sleep apnea and then mix...
Alright, let's fast forward a little bit more.
Believe their videos were. That's why I was so passionate to not only do such heavy work, but I actually put up with all his bullshit because I thought he was my really close friend at the time. This video could have actually easily been delayed, but because Seth at the time wasn't experienced with editing and how time consuming it actually is, it was expected to be done. I've heard MJXTV countless times hype me up for the fact that I got that video done in record time, and he's surprised that it was actually edited that fast. I didn't even sleep for that entire time period. That's 2 days without sleep. The kind of sleep deprivation where, if I had kept going, I could have legitimately died or passed out or something bad like that, which I almost did. I almost went to bed multiple times because I was so exhausted, but I got back up and I was like, no, you have to get this done, don't let him down. Right, I was so fatigued from sleep apnea. I wish I could put into perspective.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, this sounds like somebody that is loyal as hell. Bro is really risking death to upload a video so he doesn't let people down, bro. That's fucking crazy. That's loyalty right there.
How bad it is for those of you.
And look, I'm loyal to my other channel, but nowadays, like I used to just stay up late to record gameplay and stuff like that for the second channel. Now it's like, hey, I'm going to bed. I'll take a nap. I'll be back in a little bit, and it'll be like day one, brand new game, and we gotta get it up first. If I'm tired, bro, I'll be like, nah, bro, I gotta take a nap. They cool with it. It is what it is. People need sleep.
You've never experienced it because the time
if you don't sleep
apnea
the work looks bad.
You've slept, you don't feel like you've gotten any rest. Like you sort of question. You're like, come on, buddy, what were you doing for the past like 9 to 12 hours? Did you even get any rest? Like, what was the point in that? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I'd sit there and my blood pressure would be getting messed up so bad from these sleep issues that I'd feel like I was rocking in my chair or like I was getting dizzy for no reason with vertigo. But anyway, all that aside, I got it done. I'd also get weird messages from him where he would try to rush me with videos, but he'd try to do it in a sly way where, like, it's as if he didn't realize that, like, other people have a monologue in their brain, like, yo, he's kind of being weird through DM, and this was, like, not a one-off thing. It was all the time. It was like, yo, how's the video coming, man? Oh, yo, edit faster, Clyde. Yo, you can do it. And it was always sarcastic, too. It was never encouraging, which I would say, like, dude, you know, if you were nicer to me, like, I could easily get this video done faster. I want positive attitude. Like, I'm gonna feel
Yo, that's crazy because when I need some shit done fast, I just say, hey, can you get this done by this time? And if they say they can't, I say, don't worry about it. If they say, oh, I got this and this in real life, say, don't worry about it. Real life comes first. You know what I do? I just either go find somebody else to do it, or I wait, or I do it myself. You can't just make people go faster. That's not how it works. That's how you get upset employees and they spray the whole fucking area up.
Personally more in debt to someone
Guys
that's
are
nice to
crazy.
me as opposed to someone who is an asshole to me. It's just how I operate. I don't really respond good to negative attitude. In fact, it turns me off of doing something for someone because I will.
But yeah, you're getting treated
I'll
like
happily
shit.
feel way worse if I have to do something for someone that's nice to me. That's just how I am. But anyway, to give you guys some
Understandable.
understanding, if I was like a game producer or an engineer or something like that, right, and I complained about this to work safety, he would get in so much trouble because the amount of
safety.
work that he was making
I ain't never heard of that before, but it sounds like something they need in America.
me do
Real
while
talk.
shaming me for quote-unquote being lazy or implying to other people I was slacking off, even though he's never been able to edit a video even like I do back in 2017. My editing is heaven and earth better than it was back then. But even still, if you had to put a gun to his head hypothetically and say, edit that video, Seth, he wouldn't even be able to because he doesn't know how to.
Damn. Talk your shit.
But anyway, in
Filler
January,
footage. Hey, talk your
Seth and I
shit.
were playing Naruto together. I said to him, hey Seth, I really want to move
See,
out.
Clyde,
My
show me your
grandmother is being
skills.
really weird towards me, and same
The
with my
character
other family
switch.
members. And
You're all
I
out
offered
of
to
subs,
edit
bro.
20 videos for him for 4,000.
Well, you got full health.
USD
Oh, man,
flat.
you rocking
I think
whoever
I
hell
broke
he
it down
fighting.
to like 20 videos divided by like $200 each, which I thought was a pretty fair rate. And this is how
150,
desperate I was to
500,
move out at the time.
750,
If I had a
1,000,
normal living
1,050.
situation at the time, I could have easily stayed with my grandmother or hypothetical parents, saved up all the YouTube money I got over time, and by now I would no doubt probably own my own home or be much more financially better off. But yeah, pretty frustrating. I dived into this on veteran mode, and I did it in a very silly way too because I was in such a bad spot.
Mistakes
That
were
being said,
made.
though, Seth accepted and rounded it off to 5,000 USD as a gentleman's agreement, and I also had a notepad plus, like I said before, the Sony Vegas file, which lets me know which videos I actually edited for him, and I'd make a note as I would edit the videos. And I can say this was probably the stupidest decision that I've ever made in my life because now I was in debt to Seth. As Seth's channel grew and he became closer with his debate goobers, his ego became ridiculous, and his paranoia became genuinely weird. It was so bad that he accused me of trying to get his server banned when me and 3 of my server members that he knew who were also in his server went into his server and spam Thanos memes to annoy one of the moderators named Tempest at the time. Then Seth banned me, and in voice chat in the server started to insult me to randoms in front of everyone, right? And called me some pretty nasty things, did the same to all the other people he banned. Then he banned people like my friend Charlie and Goob, just got rid of him out the server. And it got so bad after that he thinks I was trying to steal members from his server to make my own. I already had my own server, people already watched my videos, people obviously happened to like some of the content I was putting out, actual sentient human beings that enjoyed talking to me in VC, that verbatim said to me, Clyde, that's crazy. Why would he even care if we join your server? He doesn't even give us the time of day anyway, which was true. All the people that joined my server through his or through my comment section.
You give us attention,
right?
he doesn't.
Those people never interacted with Seth the same way his lackeys did whatsoever. He never even liked these guys. In fact, one of them named Charlie, who was also from Australia like me, he became friends with me because while he was getting bullied in that server at the age of 15 and having his workout photos spammed by Seth in the server of 8,000 people, I was actually nice to him. And this came to be over a minor disagreement where Seth got insecure about his physique towards Charlie, who was pretty fucking ripped at that
Dude
age.
is jacked at
Seth
15.
also
What he
used to post
taking?
photos of a guy called Omar, who I will talk about later in this video because he's the
Bro's
head
on
animator
something.
of Naruto vs Ichigo, and Seth would pretend that this physique of his...
He's the head animator, and he got a physique like that. No wonder why it took so damn long. Bro in the gym more than he on the computer, bro.
Which is, Omar, you looking dicey, right? You looking good, right? Yeah, he used to pretend that that was, his own to randoms in his server.
That's weird.
He also apparently
That's
used to
weird,
try and do
bro.
the same thing with some cosplayer and would pretty much
Yeah.
like pretend that that was him. There was actually a time where someone was complimenting the way that my appearance looked in VC, and Seth tried to post a screenshot of myself from the iDubbbz video to put me down for some weird reason. I don't know, like, was he getting
nagging
insecure
for a
because another
face
grown
reveal.
man was getting a compliment from someone? Like, I don't know, that was weird. The actual reason why server members of mine like Goob, Charlie Smith G, Reach, and many others actually liked me was because we got along. And what makes it more weird is that why would he even care in the first place if people join my server? He didn't even
It
like
doesn't
those
matter.
guys to begin with. He had
True.
issues with them on
True.
multiple occasions and talked almost
But it's more of a possession thing. If I can't have them, nobody can.
all of them
type
in
of
private,
situation.
except maybe Reach, because Reach is like rarely ever around. Eventually, through messages, I got Seth to admit that he had mental issues, and it genuinely got so exhausting dealing with him. I can frankly say that to this day, I have never had any experience, right, like this kind of stress from any other friend or content creator on YouTube to this degree. When I edited a video for Nux Taku, he was chill, gave me more time.
Bro,
Swag,
you're editing for Nux? That's dope.
Kage, never complained, always chill.
That's dope.
Chuck, super lenient, wasn't rude, respected how time consuming the work was, gave me like 2 weeks one time to edit a video because I
That's
needed to
dope.
juggle both Seth's channel, my channel, and his video, and he didn't even care. He said, it's all good, bro, to send it over whenever. I will
Dope.
admit, there was probably like 2 through 5 times max where I did make mistakes with videos, or there was
Everybody
like
makes
an audio
mistakes.
issue where I had to bang out, say, the topo video in 24 hours, which was like 20 minutes. And I took an extra day with Seth's Kingdom Hearts video, which honestly was a hard video to edit, not only because I had to download so much footage of stuff that I didn't know about, right? But I didn't even care about the series. I didn't grow up with it. You gotta understand, it's hard to have ideas to edit videos and
you don't know
improv
shit
while
about
doing
it.
right?
Yeah.
And know exactly what to do with footage or understand
Yeah.
references and stuff that would appeal
Yeah.
to the fans if
That's
the
true.
content is foreign to you.
That is
In
true.
fact, here's the funny part actually, guys. Not many people know this, but I edited almost every single fucking big video on his channel. God of War, that was me. Goku vs Superman, that was me. The Death Note videos with millions of views,
The good
perfect
ass-
looking
those some
footage,
good
and
ass
all
videos,
the most
bro.
amazingly placed scans and music choices. Yeah, that was me. The Naruto content,
job.
which looks like it has identical editing to Clyde's Naruto videos.
It's because it's
That
the
was
same
me. I
editor.
edited his videos, made his thumbnails, helped him with titles of videos, the tags, the description, little tips and tricks which I could have kept to myself. Helped
Bro, tags are not everything, but they help a lot.
him with tweets. I even managed his business email for a year and helped him make upwards of, I want to say, in the range of $25,000 to probably $35,000 from advertisement
shit.
deals, which he'll probably say, oh, I could have got them myself, but that is
Ah,
definitely not the truth.
cap, bro. These advertisement deals is not even that simple because it could be scams. Like it's not easy, bro. Hold on, let me fucking, bro. Clyde, where's your motherfucking? I think you're streaming right now. The fuck
Because
that?
I even went out of my way to reach out to sponsors or handle all of the negotiations.
Oh,
which
bro.
I was too
What?
insecure to deal with. Sometimes I'd even avoid getting a deal for my own channel to secure deals for him.
Oh,
Along with
dude.
that, here's a
Oh,
message from one of the
what the
sponsors,
fuck?
literally bitch because he was so hard to work with and how he cancelled on a whim.
This is unacceptable. I cannot work with someone who changes his mind the last minute. Makes our team look really bad for our clients. Makes us lose clients. Not a joke. I'm not happy with it. Holy shit. Bro, if you ever look, anybody, I don't care who you are, I don't care how big you are. You could be LeBron James himself. If you decide to form a contract, regardless if it's, signed, whatever, if you form the contract, if you don't sign it, cool, you're not legally bound. But for you to go out your way and say, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to work with you, and then don't do it, regardless if you sign the contract or not, it does not look good on you. And these advertisement companies, they talk to one another. It's not just, oh, I'm a not work with Ray Shadow Legends, and then what's the one they send food, Factor, and then Factor reaches out. Like, bro, like, you might think because one is gaming and one is food related that they don't talk. There is people in the advertisement business, they are friends. Okay. And if you get put on the shit list with one, you're gonna be put on the shit list with other ones, man. I don't fuck with these people, bro. Do not fuck with these people.
At a deal that he just decided, I don't
Fuck,
want to do
man.
that anymore.
Fuck.
The most recent one too, which you can see on the screen,
Fuck.
was $18,000 for a single video. I
Single
also
video,
got a deal,
bro.
which was
Just
pretty much
walked
the same
away.
for Swag Kage, and yeah, we'll come back to that because it's pretty important for the video. As 2018 went on, it got to a stage where I was legitimately sick of working with Seth. If he was nice to me, I would have happily kept editing, but he was being a legitimate douchebag to not just me, but so many other people that I knew. I'd actually be depressed knowing that if I don't respond to a message he sent me, he would get suspicious or just cause drama on a whim. I also never had any bad experiences with many people in the community that I sadly had to cut off, like Noodles or Omar, and I had to remove them because if I didn't, Seth would be suspicious that I was doing something wrong or meddling with his work or whatever else paranoia was inspiring him to say. Like, it was ridiculous. Here's a screenshot of him threatening me after I had to explain that I wasn't involved in SmithG not wanting to work with him. I had nothing to do with the situation. It was during a time period where Seth, out of nowhere, had just deleted me off Discord because I told him to stop being a baby because he was like, "You're a bad friend, you don't care about me, I know you don't care." After I'd spent countless calls trying to tell him to see a doctor, get veneers, look after himself, how to take care of his facial skin with different kinds of creams and so on, even helped him pick out damn clothes for fuck's sake. And I'd get treated like that on a whim because he's having a bad fucking day. It actually had nothing to do with anything like me being involved. Smith straight up told me that he genuinely felt uncomfortable working with Seth, and he knew that if he did, shit was gonna go wrong. To give you a consistent example of that too,
awareness.
here is audio recording of the head animator of Naruto vs Ichigo explaining that multiple people who worked on the project had verbatim said that Seth was crazy, right? And that they needed to stop working with him, and they advised the main animator to stop because of how weird he was to work with. Alright, Omar, so could you give me some examples of the kind of stuff that people who had worked on the project that stood away or warned you about certain things? What was the
Bro
kind
got
of, like,
evidence on evidence. He's bringing in key witness after key witness. Jesus. Not looking good.
language they gave towards you in regards to working with Seth? Can you kind of summarize it within like a minute or so? How many times you heard this? And because you even told me that it wasn't just from the workers, it was also from family members too.
Yeah, so like the animators themselves all specifically said he's unstable, like crazy, and they don't want to work for him. A lot of people said they don't want to work on it again unless I'm at the helm, and were specifically only going to work on it if that was the case. I had the music guys specifically work with him for about a month and say to get away from him. The dude is crazy, and the way he speaks to me is not.
All right, so I know a lot of people are going to want me to watch this all the way through, but the evidence is very damning, honestly, and I honestly just want to skip to like the conclusion. Like, where do we go from here? You talked about everything. You mentioned the child stuff. Need to hear more. I want to hear the wrap up.
Context was because if someone said, Clyde was talking about you on stream, his instant thought is, oh, what does he shit talk me? What did he say on stream? How did he say something about Naruto versus Ichigo? Seth even at one stage wanted me to help him write messages to this, quote, wealthy, overweight girl so he could try and slip his way in with her to get money. I'm not even kidding. The League of Legends challenger player Cupic knows this girl, and I don't know what sort of terms they're on, so depending on what terms they're on depends on if we'll get an honest answer about this, but Cupic can like, yeah, haha, I get it, UFC reference because I like Conor McGregor. And then he
Conor
uses it
McGregor
a
is
second
aight.
time and brings it up in call, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why are you shitting on a hobby that I like to follow, being the UFC? Like, apart from anime, I love the UFC. Like, I follow it religiously, and I'm getting shit on for having a hobby that, like, makes my life a little bit better to keep up with. It's like I said, he gets insecure when people...
The guy is cutting right outside my window,
around him are
so I can't really talk right now, or you guys hear the noise.
famous for knowing something well that he does not.
But I'm paying attention.
If I said anything to that effect to him, he would have gone crazy at me. I was also told by more than one person that whenever Seth used to play chess with people, he actually got caught using a bot to cheat in chess.
Wow.
Yeah, that's behavior. With the debate stuff aside, this is a big one that I think a lot of people are going to find very disgusting, especially the animation and art community. So in the description of almost every Seth video, and I think he's removed a lot of the recent videos,
I can still hear. I got the Astro.
his own outro, which I know for a fact
He don't make his own outro.
The lead animator of Naruto vs Ichigo, who Seth has not only abused in various calls that I was a part of, but made fun of for being mentally ill countless times. Seth has also, cringe alert, tweeted out images of him apparently doing paintings, which absolutely, definitely were not done by Omar. No, not at all. Wasn't his art. Fucking weird shit. I also knew that with Naruto versus Ichigo, I would receive absolutely zero credit for overlooking the Bleach portion of the animation, which the main animator said that if it were not for me, it wouldn't have been done. Almost every single time that project was mentioned, it was all about Seth. I did this, I animated that, it was my vision, I'm talented, I suck my own cock in the mirror, etc. Here's the thing, okay? Seth has held his hand over the stove for too long, but never been burnt. Even when accused of being an actual pedophile, with inarguable proof that I never seen until recently, he still has a platform, and people just forget because he bullshits his audience so hard. This is beyond just making anime videos or YouTube content. He's legitimately a weirdo behind the scenes. I guarantee if he can, after this video, murder me, that he would definitely try and do it. That's a joke, by the way, but he... just kidding. Joke. And you guys don't have a single clue what he's like behind the scenes. He thinks we're all idiots. You're all nothing but a source of income for him. Just look at his tweets or listen to him on stream. At least I'm honest when I rage. This dude just sounds like a fucking chameleon. So I'm going to keep it straightforward and honest. Our podcast was never going to happen because our actual dynamic wasn't as good as you guys probably thought it was. When we're on stream or in videos, I'd always have to conform my personality and act to be very in support of Seth, or to carry it, or to steer the ship, in a sense. It was going to be dependent entirely on me transforming my tone to suit him as the main part of the conversation, and I couldn't see that dynamic working well with guests, to be honest. It would have been weird. When we recorded our actual episode 1, we had to scrap it because the person who engineered the audio said it sounded like it was more of the Seth show than a duo podcast, and to add to that, Seth stopped halfway through the podcast and got angry because he heard Swag Kage tweeted about the same $18,000 deal that he got, which I set up for the both of them. Think about this. Seth was so angry because Swag got a deal that I didn't get a cut or credit for. If anyone should be bothered, wouldn't it be me for not getting credit?
100%.
I'm financially in a worse situation. My channel's smaller. I'm getting shafted and doing the hard work, while Swag, also low-key from what I know from Seth talking to me, doesn't like me, which could also be a lie because I could see it being beneficial of him to distance me and Swag, because then I don't have Swag to back me up if I ever complain about Seth publicly. I still did this for Swag, even while being told by Seth on the download that Swag didn't want to do a three-way podcast with me being involved, because apparently my political views were too edgy, which I would never say anything outlandish to jeopardize Swag's career or say anything that would make him uncomfortable. Seth even tried to bait us into debating politics, and we almost agreed on most things anyway, and there was nothing, like, crazy that we spoke about. Like, I thought it was a good discussion, but, like, if it made Swag dislike me, I feel bad, whatever. I have nothing but good things to say about Swag. Any shit talk I've said about Swag is just a product of trying to kiss Seth's ass to make him feel better. And it's a shame.
And that's not good. Hopefully you learn that, I mean, through life, we all make mistakes. But, being manipulated by somebody else is definitely, after you realize, hey, I'm being used, you should take that into perspective whenever you talk to anybody in life. Like, oh, is this person using me? Is it to just their benefit? Are we mutually benefiting from this exchange? Definitely something to think about.
Shame. It is a shame that it's had to go that way, but yeah, I like I said, Swag's cool, but it is what it is. I should also add, there's probably recordings he has of me negatively speaking of Swag because of him being soft and distancing himself from me, but a lot of this, again, I did on purpose because I knew that he would try and distance us, and I knew that he would always be weird to me and cold. I'll tell you something even more interesting. So I've faked a lot of my political views around Seth and debated him on some pretty spicy subjects. And the reason I did this is because no one knows this, except for my close friends and family. Your boy Clyde's actually Jewish, and I faked all my political views so that he'd try and have ammo on me. I actually, on purpose, got an Ancestry.com DNA test to show to ask yourself who is Jewish and some other people, because I was suspecting that it would get spread around to Seth. Now, whether or not he's seen it is irrelevant, but this is relevant to the fact that he used to say I was a silver-tongued shit-talker who was really good at making money and my only goal was money. Looks a little bit bad when you find out about that, doesn't it? Because I tried out of pure genuineness to be a good person to Seth. But there you go, just more and more stuff I set up because I knew that he would probably either record me, lie about me, or just in general be a rat.
My man got contingency plans on contingency plans, but if you have to have all these plans with a friend, probably shouldn't even have the friendship. Okay, like faking your political views for a friendship, sure. Faking your ethnicity, that's something else.
towards me, so I thought I'd do it back to him and make sure I kept hold of all the screenshots throughout this video, which I've also got plenty more in a file just in case he responds in a weird way. Swag Kage, I want to end this message for you.
Let me guess, you said some Nazi stuff? I mean, if you said it in jest, it's bad taste, but okay, you said it in jest. If you said it seriously, I mean, okay, there's Jewish people that say Nazi stuff, and there's black people that say they hate other black people. Like, friendly fire is definitely something that exists when it comes to people, and it is what it is. But we'll see.
I know he helped you with debate stuff, and it probably seems smart to collab with Seth, but you're close to your own worst enemy and you don't even know it. He hates you for apparently having it easy and still has the recording of you conceding to him on a Naruto debate, which he has planned to put out if you ever talk him. And Swag isn't the only one.
This is so stupid.
Seth,
he's gonna release audio of you saying that you lose in a Naruto debate. Bro, who cares? Bro, who cares?
James Hansen as a pedophile after the Tipo situation, and the only reason he is helping Six is to replace Webcam, Parrot, and no doubt me. I should also add, another reason he disliked Tipo so much was because Seth had told Tipo back when they used to like pseudo-talk during him working for Seth for audio stuff that he actually was mentally ill, which reaffirmed the claim that we had back then that he was, and that's why it was always a mental note to be like, yeah, I remember Seth admitting that back then too, and it, you know, that's why he's always so hard to work with. Normally, I wouldn't like to talk about this sort of stuff because it's so, like, not okay to speak about people's, you know, problems behind the scenes and stuff, but it does
100%.
need to be spoken about because of how many people he has hurt and how he uses this as leverage to bullshit people and lie. I actually want to tell you guys this too, so I'd like to emphasize, I was the one who convinced Seth to stay away from the debate community because he's over there acting like it's lame and the community's cringe and this was like all his idea when it was me who gave him that advice because he was getting in so much trouble with bad people. Ironically, he birthed this same cringe community. It's one of the reasons he hated Famdingo so much because Famdingo used to make fun of him for being so invested in debating. He was risking fumbling thousands of dollars to be associated with people that literally wanted to murder him if they could. That's how much Seth pissed these people off. And beating him in a debate was their entire life's worth. Also, I don't even have any issues with Six. Let's be clear, I've barely even spoken to the guy. I think I've had 2 interactions with him in VC and it was real brief stuff, right? But listen to me right now, Six. I have no reason to lie to you. Be fucking careful, my friend, because if you have told this cunt anything personal, he's gonna use it against you.
That's funny. That's funny. So, Clyde has been warned not to fuck with Seth. Seth stabs him in the back. And now, Clyde is warning Six. Pattern of abuse.
Channel is doing well, but don't allow yourself to be his toy. You're nothing but a side project to him, and the amount of casual shit talk that he's done in both messages and on his stream about you should speak enough, man. Be careful.
I don't know, because Six's stepdad is a
There we go.
fucking bum that doesn't have a job or something.
Why would
His
you?
mom is super rich, so
What
I
the
don't know.
Why would you
if
tell
their
somebody?
dynamic even happened? Like, did they meet on Tinder or something?
Bro, why
How
would
did
you
that
tell
work? Like,
somebody else's parental?
Why are you saying that?
that like?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why the
But
fuck?
they didn't meet at work, you know what I mean? Like, where the did they?
I sort of also talked about this earlier, but even bragged about having roleplay messages of Chuck, which he wanted to use against Chuck to accuse him of being a pedophile, and he's known Chuck longer than any of us. The man has loyalty to one person, and that's himself. I've never actually met such a fake individual in my life. Even when he tried to reignite our friendship, its only purpose was to use me for editing or handiwork because obviously I am pretty useful. And now that he got so much flack over Naruto vs Ichigo being randomly cancelled and no one getting their money back, he took a little break while it all blew over, threatened the main animator, and abused him. You can also see that since being disconnected from myself, how the content has dramatically decreased in quality from my own, which he would always tell other editors to mimic or do better. I've seen and heard countless conversations where he would try to start editor fights between like myself and MJ or what and stuff like that, and it was just like actual, it's really just depressing to think about because it's so manipulative and weird, but that's the kind of shit that he would do, like, you know, downplay my editing in front of other people, or he would try to get others to mimic my style because it was successful and just try to replace me many a times. It's just sad. I also don't want to talk about this too much because I actually really like Cubic, but Seth bullied him so hard one time because of his flamboyant accent that Cubic cried himself to sleep when Seth was calling him a bad person and like just all this other shit. It was pretty bad. He went way too hard at him, and it's so stuff like this was so commonplace that it was ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if Yozu and Cubic have some stories that they're too scared to share, because they were actually at one stage, to my knowledge, going to get a place with Seth and then like have a sort of a YouTuber house, which Seth had offered me in the past to live with him. But the problem was, as much as I would have liked to, as friends and do the YouTube stuff together.
Hell no, I would never move in with another motherfucker ever. No, fuck that. That person gotta be my goddamn wife. Hell no, not happening. If y'all never had a roommate before, or maybe y'all cool with having roommates. Me personally, nah, never happened. I don't care who it is. The only way I'd move in with somebody is if it was in a big ass mansion, and I got this half and they got the other half.
Which, listen, it would have been cool. The idea, I knew that it would have gone wrong. If I got stuck in the USA or he was weird towards me in person, what the fuck would I have done? I would have been fucking stuck there. So that would have just been ridiculous. And I've been around way too many bad environments like that when I was younger. So that's the reason. I just expected it to go wrong. And like, I appreciated the sentiment very much.
And all that
towards me. And if he's listening to this part of the video, yeah, it does mean a lot that he even offered that. But still the point that that's how distrustful I was towards him. I just thought it would go wrong, to be honest. You might have also noticed too, the highlights channel, the Seth highlights channel that used to have my name involved. I had contact with the guy that ran the channel, so when he deleted me off Discord, Seth that is, I got him to change the title of the channel, and I helped him out with like setting the channel up so that it was for Seth, because I didn't want to be looked at as a leech. I just wanted to be away from it. So I said, yo, you should remove my name, bro. Like I don't need to be connected to Seth anymore. And yeah, it's because he and I stopped talking, and that's that. But I also helped the channel owner build that channel, because he was a pretty nice kid from, I think, Jamaica, if I remember correctly, and the YouTube money that he was receiving pretty much gave him a job, so I was really happy to help him with that, and help make the thumbnails for the videos. I prepared videos to give to him for the channel itself, which was all done free of cost. Not that I expected him to pay me, but, Seth for that matter. And I did all that just to, help out, not just him,
because.
but, like, get something cool going for him that he would have on the sly, and also get the cool community thing we had with he and I. But in truth, I never had any bad intentions to use Seth or fuck him over or anything that I've been accused of over the years. But I sort of do now, I guess. I've had to make this stuff public, because I can't live my YouTube life that I've always wanted to, because of him existing on this platform and having
it's your way to move on
and slander me at any time that he wants, while
it's your way to move on, move forward.
All my YouTube friendships that I had, because part of it too was I was so depressed that I just wanted to get away from the community, to be completely honest. And by default, as a extension of the bullshit with him, there you go. That's the situation that I am in. I honestly wish I had my own personal Clyde, because life would have been 10 times better if I did have myself to edit my videos, and third person, two of me would have been cool. All he had to do, like I said, was not be rude to me and others, but he couldn't control himself. I really sadly have to say this too, but Seth, I will make a follow-up response with way worse shit than what's in this video if you lie in your response about me. So please be careful with what you say about me in your response video or streams, because I know that you're gonna be pretty weird. You've done it plenty of times before. I personally don't think you have any integrity, so if you go on to prove me right, it's to be expected. And I should say this too, I also don't live in the same location as I did before. I did this in advance, because I knew that if John was to kick off,
you have to
it's not
move
my address,
spots.
so he will no doubt go beyond just YouTube stuff. That's how weird of a person he can be.
Very dangerous.
I just want to say this, the fact that after having so many of your friends fuck off, and also you also distancing yourself from them and then blaming it on them, it's just embarrassing that you haven't grown as a grown man at all. You haven't improved at all. Like, it's embarrassing. It's crazy too, because I still get comments all the time like, yo, you beg Seth for rent money, and it's like, no, I actually asked him for money because I was working for him 24/7 to the point where I couldn't even make my own videos consistently. That's the truth. I'd burn myself out, and the last thing I want to do is make one of my videos. I used to hate myself having to upload a sponsor video with a sponsor on it, because I was so backlogged with videos and so far behind on my own content.
Sponsor videos don't make you look bad. They make you look like you are money hungry. I understand that people got to pay rent, and I just skip through the advertisements because I don't care. But a lot of people see it as, oh, sponsor, oh my God. So you're getting thousands of dollars from this video, and you're getting thousands of dollars from the sponsorship. Oh my God, you just want money. So I understand.
And had bills to pay that I was screwed.
Yeah.
Like, with all the work that I did, like 24/7 doing stuff for him, let's be real, I could have worked that I did.
$1,000 ain't enough. 5,000, that's decent, but 2,500. $500, like, come on,
like 24/7 doing stuff.
10K, okay, that's good.
I could have asked for more, and I never did. In 2021, Seth even offered me more money after he'd
PC.
already paid me that same
Oh.
year, but I turned it down because I didn't want to get into more debt with him. I hated f***ing working with him. Yet, he'll still claim I was motivated by money. It shows you how oblivious he is to anyone's problems other than his own. It's also funny how he claims he could have made it without me, even though he asked me to supervise his Goku Power Scale Mammoth video, like the whole hour portion that Chuck did to make sure it was done right. And he said himself that he only trusted me to supervise the Star Wars video, which I think someone called Crisis worked on. He wanted me to make sure that it was me that had the final say on the video. So he obviously did have high expectations of my ability to look after his videos, because I clearly treated them really fucking well. I put so much work into them that I literally, if I had enough time, I made them as good as my own. Goku vs Superman, the Kratos videos, Goku vs Saitama, the Death Note content, bro, I made those videos so good for him because I wanted him to be happy. I did a lot of it out of pure passion. If he was nicer, we'd probably still be working together. All I wanted was for him to respect my wishes, show people a bit more respect in general. And I don't mean like lick ass or look up to others. It's just pure baseline respect like you give anybody else, right? As long as he rolled back the tone, which he improved a little bit, but it was still there all the fucking time, we'd probably still be working together. I mean, look at how I'm spoken about so nonchalantly on stream. I always go out of my way to hide stuff about him on stream. I always tell people not to speak about him badly in my server, in private. These are people who have their own opinions about him, but I do it because I'm like, yo, don't even do that by extension. I don't want any association with shit talk about him, James, or anyone. With James, I've even tried to stop it even more recently too, because a lot of his server doesn't like me, which is whatever. But that's what I'm saying. I'll try my very best to go out of my way to do little things like this for my friends because I want the best for them. I really did want to avoid this drama like an adult and just move on and act like it didn't even happen, but I sadly, again, I've been forced to make this video. If you're ever surprised why I delete my videos all the time too, or tweets, it's because sponsors pay based on views on your most recent video. So if I have a video that bombs or doesn't perform well, I have to get rid of it because I'll get lowballed by a sponsor, and these
Don't delete it, just unlist it.
sponsors sometimes are the difference between me going homeless and me paying my bills. That's how bad I've been in situations before. Also, with my current mental health, right, if I'd upload a half-assed video, I would hate myself for doing it, and I'd just get rid of the video. So, I juggle his channel, my channel. I have to rush videos. I have no motivation to edit. I'm literally suffering all the time. I'm sick as fuck because I have no fucking energy from bad sleep. Right, I'm getting slandered all the time. It's 24/7, get in, call, let's hang out. If you don't now, I'm suspect of you. If one of your friends says something, I automatically equate that to being Clyde doing it. All the time. That's how it was.
Mentally exhausting.
I also got rid of multiple of my social media accounts, sometimes caused by bans and hacking. There actually was some fucked up ones. Like, my Discord account was randomly sending people friends requests, the last one that I had, so I had to get rid of that, which was very fucking scary. But I deleted a lot of them because, to be honest, my mental health was so bad, I was gonna delete these social media accounts and just off myself. I even had a couple times where I had like an ex-girlfriend reach out, and it just set me off so bad that I just wanted to get away from everything so much. I cut off so many people. That's the truth. When he and I stopped talking, I had to make a completely new Twitter and Instagram to purge all connection with him. If you guys could, by the way, follow my social media to help me regrow those, I'd actually appreciate that because I've destroyed so much of my stuff outside of videos for the sake of this fucking stupid relationship that I've had with him over the course of the years. And also, if you want to reach out to me for any reason, my business email is in the About section on my channel. The same goes with my other social media. I don't like to reply on Instagram to people, but you're more than welcome to do that. To give you guys further context on what I was dealing with while editing for Seth, there was even times where I had to end my streams early due to heart pain that I was experiencing from overworking and my sleep issues. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting to have a random heart attack almost every day. That's how consistent it was. It also runs in the family too because my great-grandfather died of a heart attack, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I've been pretty scared sometimes where I've woken up with heart pain because of this stress and overworking. Since then, I have been taking medication and supplements that assist with cardiovascular stuff, which I actually have seen improvement with, and the fact that I don't work with Seth has definitely reduced a lot of my stress. There are some times, man, where I'd have drama with him and I wouldn't even be able to sleep properly. It was just ridiculous. Anyone who knows me personally has known the bullshit that's going on behind the scenes and how stressful this has been. I'm not gonna lie, I've been a bit of a bitch about it too. I should have stood up way longer ago and did something for people because there's...
Well, you stood up. You stood up for yourself. That's all that matters. Sure, could you have stood up for yourself a year ago? Could you have stood up for yourself 5 years ago? Yeah, you could have. Maybe you should have. But we don't live in coulda, shouldas. We live in the present. Stood up for yourself. It is what it is.
There's so many other people who've had worse experiences than me. Like, I still regret, as an example, the absolute, like, shit talk that H2 Mass received in VC and all the other people that I went out of my way to be an arsehole to for the sake of defending Seth's fucking honor, which from what I know, he barely even fucking like took note of that, nor anyone else that fights for him to the death like Aeroflame or Noodles has. Noodles used to go into random servers and debate like 50 people just to get payback for Seth. That's the kind of guy he was. And Seth had been making him do that since he was like 16 years old. I wanted to leave this YouTube stuff, move on, and avoid drama, but that's the weak way out. And I know a lot of people are counting on someone helping them get their voices heard. And you guys deserve the truth, because one thing I didn't get into YouTube for was to lie to you guys and have this fake career. I can't make the videos I want to do. I can't stream when I want to. I have to be careful all the time with starting drama with him. This shit I have slaved away at since I was 12 years old, when I had nothing and I was getting abused almost every day by my stepfather and my schizophrenic mother, right? All this shit that I've been through. All the problems with girls when I was younger, when it comes to relationship stuff, all the fucking family-related bullshit, all the violence, all the degeneracy I was around when I was younger, and I've still worked my fucking ass off and been a loyal motherfucker to this guy, and still nobody knows the situation whatsoever. They don't know anything. They just know me as, oh, he edited for Seth and he begged him for rent money. That's what I've come down to as a human being, instead of someone that was selfless.
That's what you've come down to in the eyes of the fans of Seth the Programmer, not of being a human being.
And gave their all to Seth, even while he was fucking shitting on my livelihood and my credibility all the fucking time on a moment's notice, just to get a laugh out of the comments on his fucking Twitch streams. No wonder I'm so damn fucking angry with this bullshit, with how long I put up with it for. He won't feel bad about this. He'll just think of ways of like, how can I avoid this drama and twist it to make Clyde look bad. He won't look at this and think, wow, what if I apologize and try to remedy things? What if I try to be a normal human being? There is a bigger picture here than just a couple shoutouts and $35,000. I would have never done this in retrospect for $100,000, dude. Like, I wanted out so much, and the ways I was trying to get out of it by getting money from people to pay him back was ridiculous. I was so desperate to get out of this, and no one had my back whatsoever, except people that I knew on Discord and in person that didn't have platforms to be able to back me up. Like I said, there's definitely worse stuff out there than what I know. I even have major regrets for not being more attentive during the satire ordeal, because she got buried by his lies. Now, I know Bucky probably doesn't like me, but I also don't really care to associate with him. However, his sister, you know, she definitely got thrown under the bus big time. And there's also someone called Fervin, who also had some bad experiences with Seth, and I'm sure that they're not the last ones too. And yeah, I know for a fact if I go digging into some old hard drives, I'll find a lot of bad stuff, but I honestly, again, I didn't want to make this video, but I have to, because my life's work and all the bullshit I've been through is on the line here. Many of you might say that I could take care of this in private, but the last time I did, he deleted me, and anytime I have done it in the past, he doesn't listen. He literally won't take accountability for anything that he does, and it's exhausting to deal with. My biggest regret is how much work I put into his channel when I should have just focused on my own, because hypothetical different reality Seth is probably at like 300,000 subscribers right now. He might get lucky with a couple bangers and maybe he got to like 400k, but let's be real, I carried that channel. Looking back, I essentially built my own biggest enemy out of blindness and loyalty to someone that, because they gave me some pocket change, I thought they were treating me better than anyone else had in the past. I've been recording so long on this video that I've even lost my voice so far, which is really annoying, but I never got into this to be an editor. I did a lot of this because I liked the guy, and I was way too appreciative of his financial help, which most think I was underpaid for because of how much it went just beyond editing. Recording debates, editing Twitch streams, being available 24/7, being his assistant with emails, deals, IRL stuff, thumbnails, titles, mental health stuff, growing my own channel, literally neglecting my life's work. If I could go back in time, I would definitely get younger me to delete him off Discord, and I would have tried to find a different way to succeed, even if it was the fucking hard road. It would have been better than this bullshit. This way, I would have never needed to worry about being paid by him. My work would have never given him a false ego. I would have taught myself how to edit these big Bleach videos like I did. That's funny too. A lot of people don't know that. I'm self-taught in everything that I've done, from titles, thumbnails, YouTube sort of marketing stuff. I taught myself all this shit. And Swag Kage did help me out a lot. So I do want to emphasize the part of my YouTube success to him too, which he, you know, a lot of people don't know, but yeah, he did help me out a lot, and he was really cool to work with. I actually got my first sponsorship deal while working with Swag, which is something that I'll always remember was a really fun time when we had the fidget spinners. So it was a good time. It's just a shame that during a time period where I should have been enjoying YouTube more than anything.
Freshman year.
And growing with these guys and having a good time, it was the worst time of my life. I did all of this while extremely depressed with this constant antagonization, and the most commonly asked question I always get is, why do you upload so rarely? And now you guys know.
Oh, understandable.
I don't even have the energy to stream because I had to keep all this stuff to myself, and I have to be fake on stream. I have to literally hide the truth from you guys all the time and pretend that I'm like okay when in truth I'm sitting here stressed as all the damn time. I'm not the first. I won't be the last. I dealt with this and tried my very best to ignore the drama in a very mature way while realizing that being his best friend was very toxic, and I thought that, hey, if there's one person that might get, that might get a bit of leeway here and he might treat differently, it would be me, of all people. Relatable childhood, countless endless calls which we had super deep conversations. All the time I put my blood, sweat, and tears into his work thinking that he would appreciate it beyond just a bit of payment, which it was never for that. I just needed the assistance financially, and it's like pretty clear, like, yo, dude, I got a smaller channel than yours. You're aware of how my life is. Yo, sling me some dough every now and then, right? Which, yeah, he did, but he always made it a much bigger deal than it was. I even bought this man a Fate Stay Night figure that was like $1,000, give or take, in Australian dollars, because I wanted him to have a nice gift that I thought like he'd appreciate, and like at the time he did, and he like, bragged about it and stuff, but like he probably like looks at that and he's like, oh, that rat Clyde that bought me that, him. That's probably his mindset about it now, when in reality, like, I did it because I cared about the dude. Like, even doing small shit, like occasionally trying to gift him a game, like Elden Ring when I had spare money because I knew it would mean a lot to him. I did that shit to show him I was trying to be someone that was not like all the other people who'd apparently f***ed him over in his life. I have every reason to be just as paranoid as he is about everybody else out there in the world that's f***ed me over. I've still been able to avoid that delusion and know that, like, there is a little bit of good in the world, regardless of how shit my life was. Like, when I was 11 years old, as an example, man, and this is depressing to admit, I tried to kill myself with a PlayStation controller because my stepfather would abuse me so much that I'd be trapped in my room and I couldn't do anything about it. That's how badly I wanted out, and no one helped me as a kid. All I wanted to do was enjoy the Bleach return. I waited 10 years for it. I wanted to make videos, pursue my manga story, and live a normal life. That's all I wanted, was to just live a normal life and do YouTube. But to anyone I was
it's not the
in
hand.
the
The
past,
cards were
especially during
dealt.
my worst of times, I'm very sorry. I apologize. Whether it was a debate, YouTube comment, stream, or cut anyone off for any reason, I do apologize. Thanks to those of you who listened to what I had to say in this video. I'm risking a lot here, but
everything, well, everything YouTube.
One day until people hear my side. I know that a lot of you have a brain and can read between the lines. Like I said, I've fucked up a lot of YouTube opportunities. I can't collab with my old friends. I lost a lot of love for this stuff. And I've been a cunt towards many people, which was genuinely a byproduct of my surroundings and community. But I am sorry to those of you out there who I may have hurt in the past. And I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. I should have done this for others, but I honestly thought I was going in alone.
That's the real shit. All right, so like I said earlier, we still have to get both sides of the story. I definitely understand the message. That's actually pretty dope that Clyde, not only is he risking it for himself, but he said, oh, doing it for these other people too. Like, this video is 2 hours and 46 minutes. He honestly could have took out, like, how much did I skip? Like 40 minutes worth of content. All that stuff was other people giving their sides of the story, right? A lot of this was he's telling his personal life, telling his personal stories, talking about their relationship, and exposing all the things that he has seen Seth do. He's participated in Seth's ways, but you still have to hear both sides of the story. And honestly, it's pretty damning evidence, man. Like, if this was a courtroom, Seth is looking at some hard time, honestly. Like the cyberbullying, talking about children, he's looking at some time right here, right? But still gotta wait for Seth's response. If something does happen legally, that would be the best thing to do. That's up to somebody else to do. I'm not gonna do it. Maybe Clyde's not gonna do it. Clyde's just saying, hey, this happened, this happened, this happened. But for the police to actually do something besides launch an investigation, they're gonna need evidence. They're gonna need witness statements and all that type of stuff that people just don't got time for, right? So hopefully get Seth's side of the story, and then we go from there. But that was a heart touching video, Clyde. I hope you're doing better. I saw you were streaming. I joined the Discord. I don't really use Discord. Might send you a message, might not. I don't know. But overall, it's good to get the transparency. The Naruto versus Ichigo, we're never gonna get it, right? I was excited for it when I was young, right? But now it's like, okay, Naruto versus Ichigo. The trailer that they released looked badass, but it's like really dope. But when is it coming out? So apparently never. But it was a great video. I did skip a lot, but it is what it is. Boy, miss, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time.